Welcome to Las Vegas in the heart of the Nevada desert, where the Champ Car World Series is about to get underway. Expectations higher than ever this year as Champ Car goes truly global, with 8 of the scheduled 16 rounds running outside of the United States, including 2 in Europe, as well as visits to China, Australia, Canada as ever, and Mexico. But it's an all-American start to the season, and what better venue than the showbiz capital of the planet to get us underway. We're in Las Vegas, and the fans are out in force. Sébastien Bourdais starts as champion, but it's not gone as well as he may have thought in qualification. But what a year it was last year. Just unbeatable, it seems. 7 wins, 7 poles, 11 podiums out of 14 starts, 9 fastest laps. It was rough and ready out there, but when we got underway, there was only one man in it seems. Sébastien Bourdais, Long Beach, setting a track record just to get the season underway. Well, we then moved on to Houston in Texas, and Bourdais led for 33 of 96 laps, held off Tracy towards the end, and well, the McDonald's crew and Newman Haas were absolutely delighted once again. It was a superb start to the season, going for his 3rd in a row, and by the end of the year, I can tell you, he joined Ted Horn as the only driver in 98 years of Champ Car history to win 3 back-to-back titles, and it really, well, the gauntlet was thrown down by Bourdais at Monterey. 3 out of 3 wins in that bid for the hat-trick. Unbelievable. Paul Newman completely delighted. He's been a long stalwart supporter of the series and remained so this year. San Jose, 60,000 fans saw a flag-to-flag win for Bourdais, and more cheer for the McDonald's crew. Well, formerly a Formula 3000, Le Mans racer, of course, and even won an IROC at Texas last year. Went on to Montreal, maximum points tally yet again. Paul Tracy and Allmendinger both batted aside, it seems. Allmendinger had been warming up towards the end of the season, but Bourdais was on fine form, and by the time we went to Mexico, well, a thrilling battle with Justin Wilson towards the end, but Bourdais it was in this rain-affected race that came home once again. Amazing. The first driver in 26 years to lead the championship start to finish. Took the lead on first qualifying. Was never headed, Sébastien. So what goes on inside that helmet? He's such a star turn, always attracts the attention. And, having a brief chat with Dan Clark here in the Las Vegas pit. The buzz of attention always around him, and in fact kind enough to spare us a few words of his thoughts ahead of the start of what will be for sure a dramatic season.
So
the question is, what's the key moment in 2006, or what was it? So there's a lot of key moments throughout the season, and it's a question of just keeping your intensity for a long season ahead. Not make too many mistakes. On the other hand, there's always key moments with opponents, and you know, that always happens. Like in Montreal, the chances can get annihilated at any one race. Justin Wilson's still here, and well, you just got to watch out that you don't make too many mistakes and just keep your regularity, he says. 5, 4, 3. Well, he swings like a metronome from victory to victory, it seems. So what are his expectations for 2007? I don't know about this year. It's going to be tough, that's for sure. Each year has its own kind of special circumstances, but for sure it's the biggest challenge, I think, since I started in Champ Car. Once again, everybody out there is going to be good enough to be here, and maybe I've got a slight advantage mentally, if you like. But you know, new tracks this year, it's going to make everything very interesting. Well, it's always good to have experience out there, he says, but when that experience is with a great car like ours, at the same time, of course, you're surrounded by terrific people, and, well, it gives us a true advantage for sure, because our team is absolutely superb. Yes, the absolute perfect racing conditions is what we have at the McDonald's crew. You can't argue with it. So, what is the biggest strength of Newman Haas then?
je crois que notre plus grosse force chez New Manas Lanagan Racing, ça a été.
Well, it's just that the key team keeps the same people working together year after year. Between the chief engineer, all the mechanics, and what have you, everything stays the same and has done since 2004. So we've got a solid basis on which to build things, and constantly we just have the perfect package. It sees both engineering, the car, and there he says it, the driver.
Avoir un package très très compétitif entre l'ingénierie, la voiture et le pilote.
Le pilote indeed, and what a pilot he was with those 7 wins, 7 poles, just setting track records all the way down the season. 522 laps led. He remains the man to beat despite his problems in qualifying ahead of Las Vegas. Surely he'll be holding one of those flags on more than one occasion in 2007.
Le plus difficile, ça va être le fait que.
Well, the difficult part of any championship, and particularly this one, is this year certainly don't really know the tracks and don't know what the car can give us back either. It's a new car and a whole new calendar, so something to look forward to. We don't have a lot of references out there.
La piste est vraiment super ici à Vegas. Par contre,
the track here in Las Vegas, he said, absolutely superb. The course is slippery though, not a lot of grip out there, which is bad for the aerodynamics, but we expect that, and it's certainly going to be an exciting run out there. It'll be very interesting.
Et de mettre de la gomme par terre, et là je pense que ce sera vraiment un circuit super intéressant.
Interesting. It was in turn 9, not going as planned for the man who wears the number 1. Bourdais suffering terribly and going into the wall, knocked the wheel off, as you can see. Well, not at that moment, but believe me, it was so badly damaged. It was badly bent. Will Power is the man on pole. A lot of rookies closing in on him as well. Let's speak to the pole winner.
Yeah, mate, we're on it today. I mean, we worked hard all night. We got the setup we wanted, and we went out and did it. We've always had the speed. We just had a few niggling problems there yesterday, but you know, the Aussie Vineyards car is just on the money, and we hope to have a clean race tomorrow.
You got a chance to go out there in the Bridgestone Reds. How were they?
Oh, the Bridgestone Reds are really hooked up. I mean, they were so much grip. I haven't felt a car on a street circuit like that before, so it was really good, and the panels was awesome too.
Started on the pole at Australia and went out to the lead. You figure on doing that again?
Yeah, we'll try. I mean, it's pretty wide there at the first turns, but you know, you've got to be careful, and you know, we're after the championship. We're not just after one race win, so we're just going to go about our strategy. Whatever happens, happens.
Thank you.
So Will Power on pole, next to him on the front row, Paul Tracy, the great stalwart of the series, and hampered by Pagenaud. Traffic, he says. Well, Tracy finding another Frenchman to blame out there other than Sébastien Bourdais. There's a few of them this year, and Paul Tracy, well, remaining confident, and especially as Sébastien Bourdais is way off the mark, starting on row 8 down in 16th place. Only Alex Fig, the rookie, is behind him.
But today we struggled with a lot of traffic, just got held up by people here and there, and really you've only got one opportunity to get the lap with these tires in this track, so it was frustrating.
So now you're going to be on the front row. How do you expect the race to play out?
Well, tire wear is going to be an issue. So obviously Will Power put in a great lap, and you know, we got some work to do to catch that kind of speed. But the key is going to be the consistency of the tire and making it last.
Well, something of a surprise. Robert Dornbos is the lead rookie, and in fact leads off row 2, which he shares with Alex Tagliani. The Dutchman has settled in very, very quickly. That says he's had a fantastic relationship with his engineer right from the off. Loves the series and is just so delighted to have jumped into that spot. Mario Dominguez, of course, is back in action, and he's one to look out for as well. See pictures of him in just a moment. Dominguez, the great forgiving nature, it seems, just descended back upon him, and Dominguez racing in under the Forsyth Championship Racing colours once again, teaming back up with Paul Tracy, a man he just got into too often last season, and maybe that was the reason why he was sacked. Well, he's back and piloting alongside Tracy. I wonder whether there'll be any fireworks.
La calificación me estuvo estorbando muchísimo.
He said he wasn't really bothered during qualifying. Everything I did seemed to be okay for me. Didn't have too much counter-attacking to do, says Dominguez. It was just a question of getting a good car, getting out there and trying to get in a top 3 position, which he failed to do. Qualified 7th quickest. He starts on row 4 behind Bruno Junqueira and Simon Pagenaud, second best placed rookie who leads off row 3. It's all exciting out there. Graham Rahal also there, 4th quickest rookie, but still 3 rows ahead of Bourdais. It is an amazing mix out there. Yes, Graham Rahal, son of Bobby, will be leading off row 5, despite the fact that he had his problems on Saturday. Yeah, the ups and downs of Bobby's son. He'll be in the backup car, and this is the reason why. Ouch. And there aren't too many backup cars out there, I can tell you. Spares have been a problem with the new Panos. Well, let's just hope they keep them clean out there, because repairing jobs might be difficult in a very, very cramped schedule at the top of the season.
Such a bad thing. I mean, after all, our backup car is lighter than our prime car, so for us it wasn't such a bad deal. But obviously, it's been a long day for the guys, and you know, it's just it's unfortunate we couldn't be a little faster. Well, I mean, it's equally prepared, but yeah, you're right. I mean, it never. I don't know. I'm sure it's ran before, but this is the first time it's driven, so. You know, the guys did a good job, obviously, because it performed pretty well for the first time.
Well, after so many seasons as part of the Champ Car Series, Paul Newman and Kyle Haas decided to dilute their involvement. They'll still be there all the time, but Mike Lanigan, formerly of MyJack Racing, comes on board. Brian Leal
I
is
think
the
continuity,
manager.
You know, Carl over the years has managed to get a very good collection of people who all know how to work together. So for me, you know, I'm called the general manager, but in reality, my job is very easy because everybody pretty much knows what to do and they get on and do it. You know, so the day-to-day running of the team, it's almost automatic, which is extremely nice for everybody.
Well, Newman Haas cars always seem to be amongst the front runners, and with Sebastian Bourdais always challenging for titles and indeed winning them. They're in for 3 in a row. Don't forget, speak to Craig Hampson, chief engineer.
When the car runs, we can make it really quick. The McDonald's team has done a good job, and obviously Sebastian is one of the best drivers in the world. You know, so when the car's on track and running correctly, we're very quick. You know, I think yesterday we probably could have gotten the front row shot, but there was a problem with the engine. You know, in testing, when we've been able to run continuously, we've been very quick. We broke the Formula One lap record at Laguna Seca. But we've had a lot of mechanical issues, and honestly, this championship is about finishing and collecting points for finishing reliably. So we are quite nervous going into the initial races that there are some ticking time bombs within the car that we so far haven't fixed or haven't discovered yet.
Well, Newman Haas Lanigan, as the team is now known, now that Mike Lanigan has come on board. What a package they've got, and what a driver in Sebastian Bourdais. He's starting towards the back, though, so it should be fireworks at the start of today in Vegas.
Hi, I'm Speedy Dan. You're watching Champ Car and Eurosport 2.
Looking for a star, an alternative star in Champ Car. Look no further than Speedy Dan Clark. Brit interest, and his cap mirroring his helmet, so keep an eye out for him.
I think it speaks for itself now. Well, everyone else has kind of caught on to it, so people don't mind calling me Speedy, so I think that speaks for itself. Really enjoyed San Jose last year. Just because it was a really nice race and I was good for a second place, but gearbox problems got in the way. I just watched Pink Panther, actually, Peter Sellers. I love that comedy. I really like listening to British music, so maybe The Verve, maybe some Travis. And I really like some of the 80s stuff like Prince. Some 80s cheese is always good. I really like cake, tea and scones. Running shoes, earplugs, and some Coca-Cola. I used to play football back home for a club before I picked up this karting bug when I was 8. Before then I was playing football. So I always used to be really competitive at school. I like playing tennis at my apartment complex with my engineer. We have a bit of a competition going at the minute. I really like squash, running and swimming. Just mainly sports because I'm just competitive. That motivates me. Yeah, there's a few. I mean, it's people that really find their goals and pursue them, sacrifice what you have to and work towards what your ultimate goal is, and people like that I think are admiring in every walk of life. It's funny, people ask that question. I think this is my ultimate goal right now, so I'd have to just keep working towards this. I don't feel like there's anything else I should be doing right now. Don't know, get married, have kids, I guess. Be a dad one day.
The car they were driving this year, the Panos DP01. It replaces the Lola B2K, which was built in Huntington. The Americans have taken it all on board themselves, they would like to think. It's a raised nose, it looks slightly different. It's a pretty car, you've got to give it that. They say it's larger, it does fit some of the bigger boys a little bit easier. They say it's safer as well. 7-speed paddle shift at their disposal. Champ car moving onwards and upwards, that's the word. Well, it has its problems, varying chassis weights, a little bit of underbody rub at the back towards the rear, and nose cone fitment difficulties as well as fuel cell problems. Everything they say is sorted out for racing, but we're going to find out exactly if it's all in place as we go to Las Vegas. For the opener of the Champ Car season, we'll hand over to our commentators. Trackside. Before we do, just a brief look at the 2.44 mile temporary street circuit. Just watch out for turn 3. That's the first of 8 90-degree turns as they go into the streets of Las Vegas. And indeed, on board with Justin Wilson, this is the fastest part of the circuit. The start, finish straight, and the first real curve comes down as they turn onto Bonneville Avenue into turn 2. A nice lazy right-hander, and then all of a sudden those 90-degree turns start off, and this is the first of them. Turn 3, watch the wall, big compression zone that will certainly be, and then the run down South Main Street. Long stretch this. Filing down through the gears into 4, another 90-degree, which is 5, and then 6. Eventually it all ends. The pain, that is, of these 90-degree turns. Huge weight of compression on the tyres on the outside of all of these curves. And as you can see, Justin running on the Bridgestone Reds, the soft compound at this point, coming through Bridger Avenue, down through Carson, onto 4th Street. And then finally, at long last, it's the 10th turn, and then the blast back towards turns 11 and 12, which bring you back onto the start-finish straight. It is such a quick course. 11 is the chicane to try and slow them down ahead of 12, and then the start-finish straight, where they start it all over again. An hour and 45 minutes of racing ahead of us, live on Eurosport. Well, it seems our commentary team aren't quite with us just yet. Las Vegas, the heart of the Nevada desert, the Champ Car Series getting itself underway, and as you can see, weather conditions just about perfect for us to get underway, and it'll be Will Power that leads us off. The Aussie Vineyards crew posting a qualification time 1:17.629, a full 2 seconds quicker than Paul Tracy, nearest man to Will Power. I don't know whether Will Power managed to get himself an extra run through traffic or not, but he certainly had a clear run at setting the best time, which is exactly what he did. Sebastian Bourdais starts back on row 8 in 16th place. Only Alex Figg, one of the many rookies in this race, was behind him. So Bourdais got an awful lot to do. They're about to start us up, and we're about to go racing live here in Las Vegas, live on Eurosport 2, at least at the beginning of the season. And what a busy year ahead it is. The World Market Centre, part of the course here, and our commentators, you'll be pleased to know, are waiting to take over and take us through the race itself, live in Las Vegas, and we will do our level best, should anything come a cropper, to jump in and keep you informed. So enjoy the racing. It'll be live on Eurosport throughout the season, and it's a busy one right here. Who's hot and who's not? Well, I can tell you certainly at the moment it's Will Power and Paul Tracy, and Tracy will be wanting to get the jump on Power right at the very off. What will Robert Dornbos, chief rookie, do leading off row 2, which he shares with Tagliani? We'll wait and see. We'll see you soon, live in just a moment after this break.
After a 5-month break, the Champ Car World Series is back in action today. Another fast-paced season begins on a brand new street circuit in one of America's most charismatic cities. The Champ Car World Series in 2006 was full throttle excitement from the first lap to the finish. A season punctuated by motion and emotion, crashes and clashes. When the final checkered flag fell, we had a 3-time champion to celebrate. Today, sporting an impressive new look and intense attitude, the Champ Car season kicks off 2007 in the streets of Las Vegas. Hello and welcome to Las Vegas. I'm Jeremy Shaw. With me in the booth once again, my talented colleague James Hinchcliffe. He has a busy day in front of him with the first round of the Atlantic Championship later this afternoon. We're joined also by veteran Champ Car racer Oriol Servia. Sadly, he doesn't have a full-time ride just now, but he isn't planning on keeping it that way for long. James, we've only got a couple of minutes before the start of the race and all sorts of stories to keep our eyes on.
That's right, Jeremy. We've got a brand new street track here in Las Vegas, a brand new Champ Car in the DP01, and a lot of brand new drivers, a whole host of rookies this year.
And they really have done a fantastic job with this racetrack here in Las Vegas. Chris Neifel has put it all together. James, take us around.
The street circuit here in Las Vegas is 2.44 miles in length, and as the car comes down across the start-finish line into the very wide turn 1 from 185 miles an hour down to around 70, look for some passing here. A lot of action for sure. Through the tunnel in the bumpy section through 2 and 3 to the 4th corner, the first of 5 consecutive 90-degree corners, a very technical section here. Then we head through the 9th and 10th corner a little bit faster as we head onto the back straight, and the cars rocket down, hitting the turn 11 chicane located right here, what has been the talking point of the weekend. Big curves very fast as it drops down to the tunnel into the flat-out 12th and final corner on this street circuit.
A great racetrack that has been put together here, and just a tremendous amount of excitement and enthusiasm as well. Perfect way to start off the new season. Let's have a look at the starting grid for the Champ Car Vegas Grand Prix, and just a stunning effort from last year's Rookie of the Year, Will Power, to start the season for Team Australia on the pole position. Alongside him, fastest on Friday, an ex-champion Paul Tracy lives right here in Vegas. Row 2, look at that, Robert Dornbos for the Minardi Team USA. He is also a Red Bull Formula 1 tester and an excellent start on row 2 alongside Tagliani.
06 Atlantic champ Simone Pagenaud starting inside of row 3 alongside Bruno. As we go down to the 6th row now.
Catherine Legg will start there on row 7 alongside the Kiwi Matt Halliday. Then the 2 Pacific Motorsports cars, Ryan DeYell and Alex Figge, sandwiching. Yeah, look at that. Sebastian Bourdais way back on row 8, James.
Sebastian Bourdais had a horrendous second qualifying, Jeremy. He crashed his car in his second fast lap, was unable to get to the backup car, and thus he will start outside the top 10 for the first time in 54 races.
It's only the second time in his career he started outside the top 10. The only other time was at Milwaukee way back in his rookie season. So that's going to be amazing to watch him come up through the pack this afternoon. All sorts of stories, as we said, lots of rookies here, and it's a very challenging circuit. You've talked about it already. You talked about that chicane leading under the tunnel being a difficult part of the racetrack, James. You found out that to your cost yesterday morning in practice, didn't you?
It was actually in qualifying, Jeremy, but yes, I did find that getting a little bit too greedy with the curbs in the turn 11 chicane is very, very costly. And with an hour and 45-minute Champ Car race, drivers are going to have to be very careful, very precise, and very patient.
There is Paul Tracy. He lives right here in Las Vegas. You can see he's starting on the red tyres, the option tyres from Bridgestone, the softer compound tyres. And as we've seen during this weekend, they don't seem to last very long. They seem to go off very, very quickly, and then the drivers struggle. So it's a strategy this afternoon. It's going to be very interesting. It's also just talking about the fact this is a 1 hour and 45-minute race. It's not a lap race, it's a timed race. That's how long it's going to be come what may. So all sorts of strategies to unfold. Again, look at the speeds there. Top speed here is around about 190 miles an hour going down towards turn 1. The average speed of the pole sitter Will Power 113 miles an hour, and the minimum speed, around about 57 to 60 miles an hour through that rhythm section, the tight section of corners from turns 4 to turn 8. The pit lane speed limit is actually 85 miles an hour on the entrance, and then down to 50 miles an hour as the cars go through the pit lane. But strategy is going to be crucial this afternoon, James.
Monumentally important, Jeremy. And if you think back to Denver last year, we had a similar situation with the red compound Bridgestone tires, in that the softer compound, they were a lot more what we call peaky, which is that they were very good in initial performance, but as the race goes on and the tires wear down, the performance drops off dramatically. And so there's a lot of strategy on to when in the race to use these tires, and it looks like a lot of teams have opted to use them for the first stint.
We're going to have some good onboard cameras for you this afternoon. On board the CDW car there of Justin Wilson. He should bring us some great action, starting a little bit farther down than he wanted to. Last year's Atlantic champion Simon Pagenaud, an amazing second quickest he was on Friday, dropped back a little bit on the final grid. He will though start on the third row of the grid, and he's going to bring us some very exciting pictures, I'm sure. Here's this quick chicane. You can see it's in shadow there. They go, the cars go right, left and right again, and then underneath this tunnel here, and we're coming up towards the start.
The cars are coming up. They're going to start lining 2 by 2 as we get on it. Will Power leads. Tracy sideways.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting. There is Will Power on the inside, and Tracy's got a little bit of a jump ahead of him there. The guy's struggling behind to catch up, and yeah, that was a very untidy start. Waved off there by the official starter, J.D. Wilbur. We'll have to do one more pacer. That was very, very untidy.
Yeah, that was a good call by the starter to not throw the green flag there. The second half of the grid wasn't even through the tunnel in the last corner, which is the problem is with this very tight turn 11 chicane, the cars cannot go through side by side. They've got the pace setter, Will Power's got to slow the cars down a little bit earlier and let everybody catch up, so they've got a complete 2 rows before we go green.
Yeah, I think PT there was a little bit over anxious there. He jumped ahead a little bit. Will Power did exactly what he should do as the pole sitter. It's he that keys the pace leading up to the green flag. And it's up to the starter then to decide whether it is a clean start or not. He decided then, and as you say quite rightly, I believe that it was not, the cars were not lined up properly, nor in fact were they close enough. The starter was not upset by the fact that a lot of cars weren't even in the tunnel yet, and that's about, well, almost a quarter of a mile from the start-finish line. So we'll try and do that one more time. There was talk over the off-season, you might remember, of standing starts being introduced this year. Well, there's a brand new cars, these DPO ones. They're a nice piece for a lot of little teething problems, plus there's not a lot of room on the start-finish stripe where the start would be, so Champ Car has decided, I think quite wisely, to delay the introduction, I should say, of the standing start. So right now, for the first 3 races of the season, we will be traditional rolling starts for these fields.
Yeah, it's too bad, because that's going to be a pretty exciting thing when they do introduce it, but I think in terms of safety, it was an important thing for them to do. Champ Car definitely made the right decision on that one.
There's another onboard camera. This is the Medizone, the car of Graham Rahal. Yes, that's right. The Rahal name is back in the Champ Car World Series after an 8-year absence. And Graham Rahal, the son of 3-time champion Bobby Rahal. And Graham, he was a star, of course, a standout in Atlantic competition last year. Won most races, scored most poles, but didn't win the championship. That went to Simo Pagano. But now we're going to get another attempt to get this race underway. There is Will Power pacing the field. Paul Tracy alongside him, right behind him, Robert Dornbusch. His first rolling start for a while. There is the green flag. The race is underway, and a great start by the local hero Paul Tracy. But what's behind? Somebody clipped the wall there.
It looks like it might be Graham Rahal as Paul Tracy leads into the first corner. 3 cars wide.
Bruno Junqueira to the inside there for Dale Coyne Racing. A brilliant start for Bruno.
Up to 3rd place, Bruno is. As we try and look back, it is in fact Graham Rahal. He did make contact with the wall. As you can see there, the right front is damaged. His race is most definitely done as he takes off the wheel there. That might bring out a full course caution. I think it indeed has brought out a full course caution. Very unfortunate for his debut performance.
Oh boy, that's the second time Graham's hit the wall this weekend. He had a big crash yesterday morning. I was confusing his crash with yours, I'm afraid. You crashed in qualifying for the Atlantic race, but he crashed in practice yesterday morning, did Graham, and hit the wall pretty heavily, damaged the undertray on that car. He switched to the backup car for final qualifying yesterday, the Newman Haas Lanigan racing team. They hadn't even run that. This car had never turned a wheel before Graham went out for qualifying yesterday afternoon, so he struggled a little bit, started back on row 5 of the grid, and that was a good news because now he's even farther back. And there's Matt Halliday problems as well, James.
Yeah, and the Kiwi driver Matt Halliday making his Champ Car debut in the number 42, in the 42 below number 42 Conquest racing machine, and it looks like the car's all in one piece, just not under its own power at present.
Yeah, we've seen quite a few sort of electrical glitches over the weekend with these pretty much brand new cars, and certainly a shame for Matt Halliday, very versatile driver. He was leading the New Zealand Porsche Carrera GT3 Cup Series until recently. He had to miss the last round because of an A1 GP commitment, so he's been driving all sorts of cars, done a super job for Eric Bachelard and the Conquest racing team, but unfortunately problems on the first lap for him. But as we've seen already, it was Graham Rahal who was the worst, came out worst on that first lap, and we're hearing on the radio that perhaps there was some contact between Graham Rahal and perhaps Dan Clark. Clark started 12th on the grid and Rahal 10th on the grid, and we're hearing there might have been a little contact as they took the green flag, but it's obviously that Rahal that came off worse, and there is Graham out of the car. What a disappointing day for that young man. He's a very talented driver, as you well know, James.
I can attest to that. I've been on the track with him many times, raced several years against Graham, of course, obviously also last year in the Champ Car Atlantic Championship, where he did a very good job to get 5 wins. Very talented driver. It's great to see him up in Champ Car, but he's actually still in high school. He's on his spring break right now, where most kids will be down on the beach, getting some sun and maybe enjoying a cocktail. Young Graham was here making his debut performance.
Yeah, he said coming into this weekend, he said, I can't rent a car because he's not old enough. Yeah, I can't gamble, same reason, but I hope spring break in Las Vegas is one to remember. That's what he said coming into this weekend. Unfortunately, he won't be remembering it for the right reasons because Graham Rahal's race is over pretty much before it began.
Yeah, he won't be forgetting it, but like you say, it's not exactly what he wanted from his first race. He has struggled a little bit. He's been really quick in preseason testing, but he hasn't quite got to grips with this car on a street circuit. Understandable. It's a very big step up from the Atlantic car, and I think you give him a little bit more time, and certainly when we hit our first road course in Portland, this kid's going to definitely be one to watch.
That's exactly right. Let's not forget, of course, that his teammate is none other than Sebastian Bourdais last year, because became the first driver in almost over 60 years to win 3 Champ Car titles in a row. This year, of course, going for 4 in a row, and for the first time in the last 22 races of Champ Car competition, Bourdais was not the championship leader coming into this afternoon's race. What do you mean, Jeremy? Well, what I mean by that is the fact that on Friday, fastest in qualifying and therefore earning a championship point and setting the marker for the first day of the season, that was Paul Tracy. Yesterday in qualifying, of course, it was Will Power who claimed the overall pole position, also had a championship point to his name. I think I should also add at this stage in the game that this afternoon and for this season, there will not be a championship point awarded for merely leading a lap in competition. There will, however, be a point for setting fastest lap. There's again a replay of Graham Rahal hitting the wall there just right away after the green flag. Here's on board with Graham.
Let's try and take a look. Look at that. I think on his inside you saw that there's another car going by, and that might have been side-by-side contact with Dan Clark that pushed him into the wall.
Pit lane, Marty Snyder.
Well, the replay showed a little dirt out there. I know it was a dirty racetrack, but did Clark get into you at all?
Well, I mean, what happened is, on the start, we weren't all packed up enough. And so I was trying to get right up behind Justin. In the meantime, Dan Clark must have been like 6th gear flat out. And it definitely jumped the start. And then what happened is he got up next to Yanni and realized he was going to either hit Yanni or go across the track. He shot across, and I had to dodge him. And by that time, you're so far out in the dirt that the car just won't turn.
All right, a short day for the rookie 18-year-old.
Thanks, Marty Snyder, one of 4 pit reporters we have this afternoon. Cameron Steele, Bill Stevens and Michelle Beiser also down on the pit lane. We'll try and bring as much action from down there as we can, but certainly a big disappointment there for Graham Rahal, and we saw from the onboard footage there, it didn't look like there was anybody particularly close to it, but as you say, once you get out on the dirt here, as we saw at the beginning of the weekend, there was very little grip on this track, and of course, as more rubber has been laid down, then the track has come in, the track is getting faster and faster, but when you get out there where no one else has run all weekend long, you're in the danger zone, aren't you, James?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think part of the problem for this particular start, and it's been a problem in the past with Champ cars, the start was a little bit too quick. It was part of the problem in the first time they tried to start this race. If Will had been controlling the field a bit more, had the field going a bit slower, even if Graham going side by side, he was on the outside of that turn 12, which obviously does have a lot of dust on the outside, but had he been going a bit slower, I don't think it would have pushed him out into the wall the way it did. So it's a really unfortunate situation. Bit of I think a rookie mistake. Unsure with the rolling starts in the Champ cars, having done standing starts for most of the Atlantic season last year. It's a tough call. I think if the start had been a bit slower, we might have been able to get through that corner.
Yeah, and interesting. Just we had a note here put in front of me that Rahal on the radio immediately after the accident said, "I just hit the wall on my own." That's what he told his crew on the onboard radio after that initial contact. The story is slightly different when he got back to the pit lane, had time to think about it. But another note there from the pit lane, Neil Micklewright, of course the Vice President of Operations for Forsyth Championship Racing, asking Paul Tracy, who's of course in the lead with a great start from the outside of the front row, are you getting any pickup on the tyres? All the rubber build-up offline, and Tracy said no, the tyres are good. Let's have a look at the rookies taking part in the championship this year, James.
Yeah, of course, you got Graham Rahal in the number 2 Medizone car for Newman Haas Lanigan Racing, graduating up from the Atlantic Championship. Robert Dornbos, as you touched on, is a Red Bull Formula 1 driver. Another Atlantic grad from the 06 campaign, the champion, Simone Pagenaud. And then the number 21 car, Neil Yanni, another Red Bull back driver driving for PKV.
Yes, so all sorts of drivers there with from all sorts of different nationalities and with all different backgrounds as well. So it's a great season, I think, in front of us, and a lot of drivers there with a lot of experience in all sorts of different cars. Looking down the order there, we'll come back and get that for you in just a couple of minutes, but certainly a disappointing start to Champ Car Vegas Grand Prix. So here we are, a good crowd on hand here in Las Vegas, the entertainment capital of the world, self-proclaimed. And looking down the order here, some interesting shuffling taking place in the early stages. Of course, it's still Will Power in second place behind Paul Tracy. That change made at the start. Bruno Junqueira, a brilliant getaway for Dale Coyne Racing. He signed that deal just a couple of days before the race, did Bruno, and he's delighted to be in the field. He's driving the Sonny's barbecue car number 19 for Dale Coyne Racing. And Dale, he's only ever had 2 podium finishes in his career as a team owner, which spans way back to 1984 and 289 races. So we'll see what happens there. Derek Walker, we believe, is standing by in pit lane. We'll try and get down and have a word with him. Tagliani then in 4th place, driving now, of course, for the R-Sport team, which is an amalgamation of Rocket Sports, which is where he was last year, and the Roo Sport team, which was sold over the winter and now owned by Dan Pettit, who formerly the P of PKV Racing, so all a bit complicated. And then Robert Dornbos in 5th.
Well, I caught up with Derek Walker, and Derek, you weren't happy about the start, were you? I can tell by the look on your face.
Well, now we're second, we should be first, but Paul's a good starter. He's got a lot of experience, and I think he was a little close to the front line there off the mark until the green flag flies, but he's got it. It's a long race, though. We're quite happy where we are.
Well, real quickly, while we have a second, we all want to say happy birthday to you, Derek.
Oh, thank you very much.
62nd birthday today for DW, and he's been a busy boy this morning. He's had fuel cell problems on these cars, well, on all the cars, quite frankly, but particularly these two Team Australia cars this weekend. Both cars were apart between the warm-up and the race, trying to sort out these problems. We may well see some problems during the pit stops. We'll have to wait and see. It's been a long time since Derek has tasted the victory circle. It's been 130 races, in fact, since Gilles de Ferran won at Portland in '99.
And that is Alex Figge, I believe, in the PCM Imperial Capital Bank car. Again, another rookie making his debut. Are we back to, no. Have we gone back to green? We have gone back to green flag racing. I didn't see the flagger waving the green, but they are indeed racing. Paul Tracy leads them into the first corner, still followed by Power and Junqueira.
Yeah, so the field's settling down there. Somebody trying to make a pass. I think that was Justin Wilson trying to squeeze past Robert Dornbusch. Whether he made it or not, I don't think he did actually, but there is Paul Tracy. 250th champ car start for Paul Tracy, the 2003 champion, and now the full course caution is out once again. So that was a bit of a messy restart. Hopefully we're going to get this race underway properly shortly. As you said, that is Alex Figge there, who has spun the car coming out of the exit.
No, this is the entry. This is the entry to the turn 11 chicane. You can see the curves there in the background, right there. That's so he's actually on the inside of the racing line as they head down into that tunnel. I think as they came down through that chicane, you might get a replay here. Oh no, this is back to the start.
Well, the restart at least, where we weren't sure whether the green was out or not. It didn't appear to be from where we were. They certainly seemed to be racing, and see no change down there as Will Power take a very wide approach to that first turn. Right behind him, the red and white car of Bruno Junqueira, then the black and red car of Robert Dornbusch. Behind him, the red and white CDW car of Justin Wilson, and Simon Pagenaud, the second of the Team Australia cars. And Sebastian Bourdais, we hear, has got a puncture, a tyre going down, losing some air pressure. Here's a look at what happened before the green flag. Alex Figge there just caught out by the rest of the pack, slowing down a little bit more than he anticipated, James.
Which car was it he hit there? Could you tell,
yes.
Jeremy?
I think it was probably Matt Halliday, actually, or Ryan, maybe even his teammate Ryan Deyell. It was all very close back there.
I think it very well might have been his teammate. It's very tough to tell from that angle, but
sure whether it was contact or not.
Apparently, from what we're being told, Sebastian Bourdais has a flat tire and will have to be pitting to get that change. That's going to put him back to the end of the line.
Yeah, and he'd made some good progress on that first lap. I was trying to get to where he was. I think he was in 8th place actually under that caution period, but now he's dropped back a few places. And we're hearing, there's look at the top of the screen there, just on the left in the top corner. I think that is Sebastian Bourdais' car just coming onto the pit lane. So an unscheduled pit stop, but you never know. This might work out in his favour. I think he started on red tyres, on the option tyres. Yeah, there is Sebastian Bourdais. New colour scheme this year, and new ownership as well. It's now Newman Haas Lanigan Racing. Mike Lanigan there of MyJack fame joining. They off come the red tyres, and yes, on go the blacks. This could be a very fortuitous pit stop for this man Sebastian Bourdais. We've already talked about it a little bit already. The red tyres are really not lasting very well. The black tyres, a slightly harder compound, are very, very consistent. And this unscheduled pit stop could be a very, very fortuitous move there for Sebastian Bourdais. We'll have to see. A lot to unfold, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. This could really, really play into Sebastian's hands. We got to look for sort of a Denver-esque drive from Sebastian when he came from the back after being spun out in the first corner to come back and win it, of course. So being now back on the blacks, although the red tires are a little bit quicker, as we see Alex Figge pulling out of the pit lane there, he'll have a more consistent tire. So as the reds fall off during this first stint, he might be able to pick off some of the drivers in front of him.
A bit surprised we didn't see more people towards the back of the pack coming. We have seen a couple of pit stops, however. We've seen that Ryan Deyell also has been on pit lane, we are told. Matt Halliday is back in the fray. Unfortunately, Matt's 3 laps down. Alex Figge also, we believe, is 1 lap down to the field. So 14 cars still on the lead lap. Graham Rahal, of course, the only car out of the race at this stage. And there is one of the crew members having a look over the one of the rear tyres from Sebastian Bourdais' McDonald's car. And there they believe they've pinpointed the cause of that tyre losing air.
Yeah, they found a puncture on it there, and good call from them. Good call from Sebastian to be able to feel it before they got back to green flag racing. And like we said, this could very well come play right into their hands as we see Justin Wilson lining up there. He's a little bit disappointed with his qualifying effort, but he's now found himself up to 6. He's made up a few spots as we're heading now into that chicane. The pace car will be pulling into the pits this time, and we should be hopefully getting back to some good green flag racing.
Yes, and again, it's not a lapped race, it's a time timed race, 1 hour and 45 minutes, so a good hour and a half of racing still to go here this afternoon. And they come through this tunnel here, which is pretty dark underneath there, and they're coming up the hill, over the crest, turning left all the way, accelerating under normal conditions to around about 150 miles an hour by this point, and then it goes, poor Tracy drops the hammer, away he goes.
An absolute professional. He kept them very, very, very slow all the way up the hill through the tunnel, and then got on it when he wanted to get a great jump on Willpower. Look at Alex Tagliani looking down the inside of Bruno Junqueira. He will make that stick, and Justin Wilson thinks about going with him, and he got rear-ended there.
He did indeed by, I'm not sure who that was, it might have been Dan Clark who was tucked right in there as well, but it seems to be no harm, no foul for Justin Wilson. He seems to be keeping on going there, but certainly that was a good pass there by Alex Tagliani. Made a great restart, tucked underneath the rear wing of Bruno Junqueira, down to the inside under braking. Good clean pass by Alex Tagliani.
And here we are looking at the CDW car. Justin Wilson, like I said, a little bit disappointed with his qualifying performance, struggling a bit with the car here at the street circuit in Vegas. Great onboards here from his car. We'll be looking at that a bunch of times today.
As you say, that camera breaks up as he goes through the buildings there, but you're right, it is going to be some spectacular footage, I believe, from on board these very pretty DP01 cars. They've, as I say, we've got a few teething problems with them, no doubt. It's really, they haven't done that much running. They've only done 7 days of testing each. Testing is very much restricted these days in Champ Car in order to keep the cost at a sensible level, but at the same time, there's no doubt about it, the teams really haven't put as many miles on these cars as they would have liked.
Coming up to the chicane for the first time under proper green flag conditions. Look at how these guys tackle them. They're being a little bit gentle right now with full fuel loads. Here's a replay of the move with Wilson and Tagliani making that pass. You see Justin go for it and then gets rear-ended there by, looks like one of the Team Minardi USA cars. Dornbos, Robert Dornbos, it looks like, has fallen back, obviously, from his good qualifying position. On board now with Justin. One thing you'll notice this year with the new DP01, the right hand of the drivers no longer coming off the steering wheel, Jeremy. They've gone from a traditional sequential shifter to paddle shift, Formula One style, so the drivers never have to take their hands off the steering wheel for either upshifts or downshifts, and it seems to have gotten praise all around from the drivers.
It does. They certainly like this modern system. Some of the drivers, though, they prefer the old style where they take the hand off the wheel and proper hand lever, so to speak, to shift with the cars, but most of the drivers, they're getting on with it just fine. Paul Tracy in particular, I don't think he's ever driven a paddle shift car before, in actual fact, so he's took a little bit of getting used to, but obviously not much. He was fastest of all on Friday. Yesterday in final qualifying, PT didn't quite get it together. There's a problem there. I think that must be for Simon Pagenaud there, but slow out of one of those section of corners that around the Golden Nugget Hotel, I believe.
And he's got Neil Yanni right behind him. We got a bit of a queue forming up behind him. Sebastian Bourdais in there, and who else is back there? Catherine Legg is back there. So everybody's kind of queuing up behind him. Looks like he had a bit of a bobble, but he seems to still be up to relative pace. So hopefully he can keep the pace up. If the move's going to be done, it'll probably be coming out of this tunnel, heading into the first corner if they can get a good draft off him.
Yeah, of course, they still have the Cosworth power to pass this year. 60 seconds worth on this racetrack, and you use about 18 seconds. Neil Yanni, we believe, is using it, and there is, you can see, well, you can't see from that angle, but he was using it because it shows up on our screen here in timing and scoring, and you see he's able to maintain his advantage there over Sebastian Bourdais. That the battle for 10th and 11th.
That was fantastically done because Sebastian had a much better run out of that chicane than Neil Yanni did. Had the draft, Yanni saw it and used the push to pass as a defensive mechanism rather than on the offense. Sebastian decided to save his and did not get the position on the black tires. He'll be running good, consistent laps for the rest of this race. He will be moving up, Jeremy.
New on Eurosport 2.
Vegas. So now we've got 10 laps in the books out of a 1 hour and 45-minute race, and there is our pole sitter, Will Power. Just amazing. He has been stunning for this weekend. He came in here brimming with confidence. You'll remember the end of last season. He won the pole in his home race in Surfers Paradise, led the opening stages, was punted out by Sebastian Bourdais, came back from that, and he was finished. He's got his first, I should say, podium finish in Mexico City. So his confidence was high going into the off-season. He really likes this new DP01 chassis. He was very good in testing, and he came here, struggled a little bit on Friday, but only because he had a few mechanical issues with the car and couldn't really get a clear lap in. But yesterday in qualifying, stunning, and there a brilliant pass of Paul Tracy, and now in the lead once more.
Yeah, Will Power's just at the fastest lap of the race, obviously setting a blistering pace, but second fastest right now, Jeremy, his teammate, rookie Simone Pagenaud, doing a very good job on his Champ Car debut.
Well, that is impressive. Neil Mickelwright telling
Paul Tracy is time of his life, and I'll tell you why. We talked about the fact that he is in his hometown, but when he was the provisional pole winner on Friday, he said that he loves street courses, and the first 3 races of the year are in the streets. Las Vegas, then we go to Long Beach, and then Houston. He says this race will be a big barometer of how dominant he can be this year.
So there we are now. Will Power just edging away a little bit from Paul Tracy, but as I was saying, Neil Mickelwright on the radio to PT saying, don't worry about it, there's a long, long way to go, and indeed there is. Right now, 20 minutes at least in this race, but you can see that Will Power is edging away just a little bit, and both of those two have pulled out about a couple of seconds over Alex Tagliani, driving, as I said, for that new Eurosport team, amalgamation of Eurosport and Rocket Sports. Yes, Alex Tagliani back with Paul Gentilozzi, with whom, of course, he scored his first Champ Car win 3 years ago. Bruno Junqueira now still in 4th place for Dale Coyne Racing, and Robert Dornbosch. Dan Clark, the team boss of Robert Dornbosch, the 2 Minardi Team USA cars running 5th and 6th. And for Dan, that's a brilliant effort. Here, though, farther back down the field is Mario Dominguez under all sorts of pressure.
Well, 3 cars wide into that corner. That was a bold move from Giuliani, and it's kind of mixed things up now as the cars are going into this tight technical section. Sebastian Bourdais in the mix. Justin Wilson trying to find a way by Simone Pagenaud.
I think Justin might be struggling a little bit. He's certainly slipped back quite a long way, hasn't he, James? And he's right in the thick of that action. And he, of course, is still on the red tyres, as are most of these guys. And there is Sebastian Bourdais. He had that puncture early on. And again, we talked about it. It seems to be playing into his hands. He's running very, very well and consistently now in the McDonald's car and up inside, well inside the top 10. Let's have a replay here. That's Dominguez out front. On the right of the screen is Wilson. On the left of the screen, that is Neil Jani making that move cleanly down the inside into turn 4.
Frankly, if I was Tony Cottman, I'd be giving Mario Dominguez a penalty for blocking him. He was driving right down the middle of the racetrack, and it's a no deviation from the racing line here. Oh, this could be why, though. If he was alongside Justin Wilson, this angle doesn't make it the best. Hard to tell there, but certainly when they were entering the corner, Mario was right in the middle, so we'd have to see a little bit further down that straightaway. Oh, and Justin Wilson has got, Sebastian Bourdais has got by Justin Wilson.
Yeah, and Sebastian Bourdais is the man on the move. He's now up into 10th place. That would be Simon Pagenaud will be ahead of him there. The yellow flag's being waved. Right now it's just a local yellow. It's turn 3. We are there's somebody there. That's one of the Aussie Jet cars. So it's either Dan Clark or Robert Dornbosch. We'll have to wait and see who that is. But certainly one of the Minardi Team USA cars.
Looks like the 3rd turn that they're in right now, heading down that straight into corner 4. It's a very tricky corner. That's the one very, very bumpy section of the track, and it is Dan Clark. You can see from the helmet there, Dan Clark is in the wall. And like you say, Jeremy, he was having a fantastic run, having really struggled all weekend, having got no testing in this car.
That's absolutely no testing whatsoever had Dan Clark coming this weekend. He finally did the deal early part of this week, and look at him there waving in frustration. Where is this Champ Car safety team? He wants to get back underway. And of course the marshals there on the wall, they're not allowed to do anything. Dan's been around this series for a year. He should know that. He has to wait for the safety team to come around, and that's one of the lesser risk corners on the track, so he'll have to wait a little bit for the safety team to come on. Here though is Sebastian Bourdais making that pass down into turn 1, slides through under brake, a slide job on Justin Wilson. Here we go again, another angle, James.
Yeah, this is good. He's coming down, he's got the line, he's on the inside, and Justin thinks about holding it, but he knows he can't do it, and as he comes in, gets really close to the back end, his back end steps out. Very dramatic stuff there, close to an accident.
Certainly was. So good stuff there. All sorts of good action. Now we're back under yellow again, which is certainly a shame. But Sebastian Bourdais is on the move. And of course, this is his first race as a father in the Champ Car World Series. He was married last year to his longtime girlfriend Claire, and young daughter Emily was born on December the 2nd at the end of last year. There's a replay there of Dan Clark exiting stage right at turn 3, James.
Yeah, it is a tricky section. It's uphill. You come down through the tunnel and you're braking on an uphill, and that's the one section of this racetrack in Vegas. They've done a phenomenal job on this circuit, but there's one section that's very, very bumpy, and it is down through the tunnel there and in the brake zone into 3. And if you carry a little bit too much speed, the bumps can really unsettle the car, and it looks like Dan just went in a little bit too hot. The back end stepped out, and after that he was just a passenger.
Indeed, and you talked about it. It is a quick section of track too. It's a bumpy. You go down that down the decline, up the incline, I suppose you would, underneath the tunnel there. But the cars, they're doing 160 miles an hour up that section. They're hard on the brakes for turn 3.
And it's a tricky corner because you're braking uphill, but then as you turn, it completely flattens out. So you've got a bit of a compression helping the car at one point, but then as soon as you get to the apex of the corner, the corner is flat. You're no longer being helped out by that angled road. So a very tricky part of the racetrack, and unfortunately, it's just caught out Dan Clark here. And again, another car out of the race. Very, very unfortunate.
Yeah, but he had done a brilliant job. He got himself up inside the top 6, and as we said, hadn't even driven one of these cars before this weekend, so was well behind the 8 ball compared to everybody else. But he had, in actual fact, set the second fastest lap of the race before that off, had Dan Clark. He'd done a 1 minute 22.4, and in fact, it was the lap that was on the lap before he went off. 1 minute 22.4 compares also to Will Power's 1:22.4, 22.472 for Power, 22.498 for Dan Clark. But that's the good news. The bad news is he didn't get around the following lap.
No, he did not. But I've been really impressed with Alex Tagliani. He's got the 3rd quickest lap right now. He's running in 3rd position. He is really blossoming in this new environment at the R Sports team. He had joined Rocket Sports. Justin Wilson with Eurosport had their one-car operation. As you said, Jeremy, they've amalgamated the 2 teams to form R Sports, and he has done a fantastic job this weekend out-qualifying Justin, as we actually see Alex Tagliani into the pits right now.
Yeah, so the pits are open, and here is Paul Tracy and the rest of the guys coming down the pit lane. Simon Pagenaud pulls off as well. Well, that's actually Mario Dominguez, I beg your pardon. So here is Sebastian Bourdais. He's already made a couple of pit stops actually this afternoon. He's already changed tyres, so I wonder, are they going to change tyres? Yes, they are going to put on a fresh set of tyres this afternoon in this next pit stop, along with everybody else in the field. We have 7 sets of tyres to last you through the weekend, so tyre management is very, very critical. It looks like he got out of the pits ahead of Simon Pagenaud. So again, a good stop there by the Newman Haas Lanigan team. Of course, he would have needed to have taken on a little less fuel than did Simon Pagenaud and the rest of the guys.
And it looks as though Bruno Junqueira has managed to jump back ahead of Alex Tagliani in that pit stop, so a great effort from the Dale Coyne crew.
James Hitchcliffe, while we're under yellow, I want to thank you for joining us this afternoon, and have a great time in the Atlantic race. You're going to start on the front row of the first Atlantic race of the season this afternoon. That's in an hour and a half or so's time. So thanks for joining us. We'll see you in Long Beach, and we'll be watching you later on this afternoon.
Absolutely, Jeremy. Enjoy the race. It's going to be fantastic. Sorry I can't be here to join you, but yeah, I do have a little bit of business to take care of later this afternoon, so I have to go get ready for that. So thanks very much, and like you say, we'll see you in Long Beach.
Can't wait for that. So we're under caution still here at the Champ Car Vegas Grand Prix, round 1 of the 2007 Champ Car World Series. 15 laps now in the books. A replay here of the scheduled pit stop for Alex Tagliani. That's the R Sports team we've talked about. Off come the red tyres, on go the black tyres, and a good scheduled stop for those guys. Lexington Energy Services, the primary sponsor on that car, the LXN2 R Sports DPO1 chassis. Again, a replay there of the pit stop again for Newman Haas Lanigan Racing. New colour scheme on that car for Sebastian Bourdais. Set the field for you. Will Power leads still from Paul Tracy. Bruno Junqueira, an excellent pit stop for Dale Coyne Racing, gets him out in 3rd place ahead of Robert Dornbusch. Mario Dominguez, a good stop also for the Forsyth team. Yes, Mario Dominguez back with Forsyth. That was a shock after he was fired 4 races into last season by Jerry Forsyth, but back now with that team, at least for the first 3 races of the season. Now Neil Jani, Ryan DeYell, he made an amazing pit stop, and behind him Sebastian Bourdais up into 8th place, and Catherine Legg and Alex Tagliani. And I've got to welcome now, while we're under yellow, Oriol Servio. Very kind of you to join us this afternoon, Oriol. Sorry you're not driving a Champ Car full time yet. There's Dan Clark making his way back to the pits. Just tell us a little about your situation, Oriol.
Good afternoon, everybody. Well, obviously I would prefer to be on the asphalt and not sitting in this beautiful AC facility that we are in, but it is what it is right now. So I'm still hopeful that something will come along in this season, and that I'm actually going to be in a good seat. But as of right now, I have to wait and be patient. Yes, I think there's quite a few deals that are still to be done. As I look at the puncture there on
Not sure whose tyre that was actually. But there's a long way to go, and there's a few deals here that at the moment, just for the first 3 races, certainly Mario Dominguez is one of them at Forsyth Championship Racing. So there are, and there's another couple of teams that are still talking about moving into the Champ Car World Series before too long. So we certainly hope something will open up for you soon. You've been around this sport for several years now and got a lot of good results. You had your first win a couple of years ago with Newman Haas Racing, and I know we want to see you back at the wheel of the car. But for now, again, thanks for joining us in the booth, and pretty interesting race unfolding here, Oriel. Pretty interesting race unfolding already in the early stages, only 16 laps in.
Very much. I mean, it couldn't be more of an exciting first race of the season. We have all these things going on. Sebastian starting on the back, going
Bill
to the
Stevens
front.
is down in the pit lane.
That guy at Eurosport, and Paul, the race isn't really into its main theme yet, but a lot of strategy down here with fuel and tires.
Well, we made the decision. We took a little bit of a gamble here. We gave up P3 for P7, but we're on black tires. The sun's out. It's hot. We don't know what the racetrack will do. If we get to the end on one stop, we're heroes. If not, we're not.
And Alex is happy with the car.
Oh, absolutely. He's got a great car. He was saving fuel first one.
Got a good run going.
So there you go. Thanks, Bill Stevens there with Paul Gentilozzi, one of the principals of the Eurosports organisation. Race control, we're about to go green. Race control, just reminding the drivers, no blocking is allowed. And a great restart there for Will Power, Oriel.
Yeah, look at Bruno. Bruno looking at Tracy. That would be awesome.
Looking to the inside, he will go. Paul Tracy, well, he's about as late a breaker as they come, isn't he?
Yeah, and I mean, Paul couldn't allow that, Bruno to pass him in the Delcon car. I mean, it was not going to happen. Either we were going to both end up in the wall, or Paul was going to stay front like it was. But hey, Bruno is doing an awesome race for the Delcon team, and I mean, I'm really glad he's doing so well. He's one of the drivers that has been around, like myself, for a while. He's always proven to be fast, and he's definitely taking the best, the best of what he has right now.
He certainly is. He's done 87 Champ Car starts as Bruno Junqueira coming into this weekend. 3 times he has finished second in the championship. He found himself out of a ride at the end of last season, and there was no sponsorship forthcoming for a second car. That's where the Medizone guys came in on board to take on Graham Rahal. So Bruno looking around, and he's found a seat with Dale Coyne Racing. You've been in that position before, and Bruno says, hey, like you did a couple of years ago, Oriel. Bruno says, I want to be in the Champ Car World Series, exactly what Cristiano D'Amato did 1 year ago, and he's now trying to make a name for himself and get Dale Coyne up to the front. And I think the fact that they're running a new car is certainly going to help. And let's replay here of the start, the restart there, I should say. Will Power really getting the power on hard coming up towards the flag.
I mean, it's unbelievable. Already yesterday in qualifying, I couldn't believe he was 1 second faster than the second guy. I've never seen this before in Champ Car history, in all these years, and it's proving that it was not just 1 lap. I mean, he's definitely the man to beat today.
He is indeed. Bruno Junqueira, I was talking to him just an hour or so ago, and he was saying, he's been really thrilled with that Dale Coyne Racing car all weekend long. He's had a couple of niggles in qualifying. In one of the sessions, he was punted off by Tristan Gomandy, another of the rookies on the first lap, so didn't get to set a representative time. That was on Friday afternoon, but otherwise he's been in the top 4 or 5 every single session.
Yeah, no, he's been in top form, and it's a new track for everybody, so it's not like he had an advantage, over rookies. It was new for everybody, and he's proven to, be able to drive that car much faster than anybody thought, actually.
And being the new car, the new DP01 car, the Lolas have gone. They've just turned sterling service for the Champ Car World Series over the years, but now this new DP01 chassis, so everybody starts on a level playing field. They've got a couple of very good race engineers there at Dale Coyne Racing, and Bruno taking advantage of that.
Yeah. I mean, everybody starts from the same point. Finally, now we had the Lolas for 4 or 5 years, so we had some teams being able to make evolution every year. Like when I was at Newman Haas, every 2 races we had 1 new piece to try on, you know what I mean? And after 5 years, that's a lot of new pieces in a car. So now with the Panos, obviously, the better teams, the teams with bigger budgets, are going to still be able to, like Sebastian is doing, going to still have probably a better car, but definitely the difference between one and another is much smaller than used to be last year.
And there was Sebastian Bourdais making a move there on Ryan Deyell. Ryan had got himself up into 6th place, a great run for the Pacific Coast Motorsports team. And again, just letting Bourdais, clearly Bourdais has a quicker car. Deyell not really fighting too hard, letting Bourdais go.
Yeah, and I see Sebastian is one of the few guys on black tires. Most of the other drivers are still on reds. and they seem to work pretty well for him. Usually the red tires are much faster, but in the race and when it gets hot like it is today, the reds, after 2-3 laps may get slower, and I see that it's working for Sebastian right now to be on blacks.
And he came in, he said, every time we pit, guys, this is after the last pit stop, we seem to gain position, so this seems to be working out for us. And he had this quote, if I was listening to my heart right now, I'd be crying, so I better check my mood. He's kind of giddy inside the race car, obviously very confident with what they have versus what they had earlier in the week in that one car.
Snyder there down in the pit lane, and Sebastian Bourdais, we're watching him here, the number 1 car, the McDonald's car, fastest lap of the race last time around at a 1:22.1. He's up into 6th place now, having got away around Ryan Dalziel. Will Power just a tenth of a second slow, well less than that, the race leader in terms of overall fastest lap time set thus far. But now Bourdais, he's got his head down. He started at the back of the field after that crash yesterday in qualifying, and next in his sights is Neil Jani driving that Red Bull racing car for PKV Racing. Oh no, Justin Wilson, the CDW car, the R Sports car, he's in the wall. Another mistake, apparently, this time from Justin Wilson. We've seen a lot of mistakes this afternoon, it would appear.
Well, yeah, I mean, we cannot really tell if it was his mistake yet, but it's a very slicky track, and the moment you step out of line, it's very easy to get to the wall. We saw Friday on the first session how slick was. Gearbox.
My apologies.
Yeah, he lost the gearbox. It's a problem. It's a new car, a new first race of the season. We're going to see a little bit of this. It's just the nature of the game. There's these machines are very well prepared, but they're still racing machines. Everything it's brought to the limit, and sometimes when you're in the limit, things break.
Indeed, I'd been heard a word in my earphones there to say that he was in the wall. My apologies there to Justin Wilson. He wasn't in the wall, he was just pulling off the racetrack. And there again, here now is Sebastian Bourdais making a move down to turn 1. Can he squeeze his way past Neil Jani? Yes, indeed he can. So another place made up there by Sebastian Bourdais, now up into the top 5.
Yeah, Sebastian's flying. I mean, the race is going to be between Power and Sebastian's. Sebastian also with all these yellows, it's going well for him, because every time there's a yellow, there's less land to catch up to the front. So it's definitely working for him, and he is as fast as I would say as Power. So I'm sure towards the end of the race we're gonna see a very.
Coming up this April on Eurosport 2, the 5th edition of the ULEB Cup returns to its spiritual home, Charleroi. 2 teams who beat all companies.
There also is Robert Dornbosch making that move. So Bruno Junqueira goes from 3rd to 5th in just a couple of corners. And I wonder whether Bruno is perhaps struggling on these red sidewall tyres. We've heard a lot about it this morning, that are really not lasting very long at all. They're quick for a few laps, Oriel, but then falling off the pace quite quickly.
Yeah, especially today with the hot temperatures that we have out there. It's new asphalt, and when it's that hot, it becomes greasy. And maybe with the something going on Sebastian's car.
Yes. I
think he's having problems. I think Sebastian's maybe out. Yes, he's letting Bruno go by. There's definitely he's having some problems here.
Something is amiss clearly with that McDonald's car number 1 of Sebastian Bourdais. It's all gone wrong from him. Went wrong for him yesterday. He made a mistake and hit the wall actually in that car part of the racetrack, and now it would appear again some sort of a mechanical problem. It's slowing down. They told him from the pit lane. Craig Hampson, the engineers, told him to recycle the ECU, but whoa, what's that, a big long that's flat right front, has he as well?
Yeah, definitely has the right front flat. I was looking at it and I couldn't really tell, but yeah, definitely he has the right front flat.
So whether he's hit the wall again, we saw he had a puncture in the early stages of the race. Now he's got to be very careful to limp this car around and not do any more damage, Oriel.
Exactly. In these situations, you want to go back to the pits as fast, obviously, as you can. But it's better just to make sure you get to the pits first, because it's very difficult to drive the car like that. And still, if he makes it in time and doesn't lose a lap, he can still do a a pit stop and the race still long. You know, he could still be in the race. If the flat tire is his only problem, you know, we could still have some Sebastian still in it. Indeed so, but the bad news, of course, that he had that puncture really going into turn one. He's got a whole lap of this 2.44 mile race. Like there's only a couple of tracks longer that we go to all season long. Road America and then also Mexico City and Surfers Paradise just slightly longer. So it's a relatively long racetrack and a long way to let that car around on effectively 3 wheels. I know. I mean, it couldn't happen to him at a worse place. Bad luck, you know, flat tire at the start, now again. Well, it's going to make it exciting for us. Whether he hit the wall or not to cause that flat tire, we do not know. There is another pass for position. That would be Alex Tagliani there, finding a way past Ryan Diel. So Tagliani, he's been flying lately, but so has Will Power, our race leader, a new fastest lap of the race, 121.9. Marty Snyder is standing by in pit lane with the Newman House Landigan team.
Well, guys, it took a long time for Sebastian Bourdais to get over here. They want to look at the rear tire as well. As you said, Wally, this is now 3 cut tires on this car. We want to make sure that there is indeed concrete that we might have seen on the right front. Trying to get it back in gear, trying to get off pit road, finally does that. We're going to check out this right front tire. But it's amazing, 3 tires on this car so far today.
That's amazing. Or three flat tires already today.
He's definitely using some different line to everybody else. So yeah, it's very slippery out there.
That was a big slide. That was Simon Pagenaud.
He must be braking, like in turn 1, for example, we can see now when we're going to brake, some drivers stay more on the right over the curb, like we'll see right here. So maybe he's just clipping the curb in a way, because it's also the right front. It's just the tire that goes over that curb. Could be something like that you don't really realize that you're doing it to yourself. But sometimes, you just gotta think a little bit if you can during the race and maybe change your lines a little bit, because it's obviously you cannot go on like that. You're not going to win.
Yes, absolutely right. We're hearing that Bourdais did make it out of the pit lane just ahead of our race leader Will Power, so we'll have a look at their relative track positions as soon as we can. There is Bruno Junqueira, the Dale Coyne racing car, Sonny's Barbecue, under intense pressure there from Ryan Diel and Simon Pagenaud, who we saw broad sliding that car down into the tunnel coming out of that turn 11 chicane. So he's in the second of the Team Australia cars there, third in line, thinking about making a pass on Ryan Diel, not quite close enough.
No, we see the cars now really on the end of the tire life. We see Bruno like really struggling to keep up the pace. He's done 25 laps on these red tires on the heat of the day, and now is the time that you have to focus more than ever, because it's really easy to make a mistake.
And Bruno is always he's coming into the pit lane. There was Bruno, just peeled off onto the pit lane. There goes Will Power, Simon Pagenaud making a move past Ryan Diel coming out of that chicane, and Bruno Junqueira is onto pit lane. But Bruno is generally one of those drivers who's pretty soft on the tyres, isn't he?
Yeah, no, he's very smooth, and he's good. He has a lot of experience. Oh, look at Catherine trying on the outside. She's a brave woman.
That was a brave move. They're the black and orange yellow car. They're the second of the Dale Coyne racing cars. That is Catherine Legg. She appears to be there on the black side wall tyres. She's up into 8th place and putting a lot of pressure there on Tristan Gomondi. Ahead of Gomondi, he's driving for PKV Racing. Ahead of Gomondi is Ryan Diel, and then Simon Pagenaud. This great battle for 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th, which is Catherine Legg.
I know, the race could go still, upside down. I mean, we have the top 3 guys that have not pitted. Everybody else has. So if a yellow would come now, it would change the outcome right away. So, I mean, we'll see. It's one of those moments that, you want to have as much laps as you can on your fuel tank, but you don't want to be the last one in case there's a yellow.
So Will Power and Paul Tracy and Robert Dornbos doing an excellent job to keep those keep up the pace. 22.6, 1 minute 22.6 that time for both Will Power and Paul Tracy, separated by very little at the front of the field. There are the two, and you can see, you just saw a flash of the McDonald's car only about 100 yards up the road. This here is the battle for the lead. Will Power leading Paul Tracy just less than a second between. You can see just a car length or so, and there you just saw a flash of that McDonald's car just ahead of them, Oriol.
Yeah, I mean, Sebastian could still win the race. It sounds crazy, but he just stopped. These guys have to stop. Anything can happen.
We've learned over the years you never count out Sebastian Bourdais, do you?
No, especially I know. I was his teammate in 2005. I can tell you, you can never count him down.
So PT is expecting a pit stop for the Forsyth Championship Racing Team imminently. He said he doesn't want any adjustments to that car. He's very happy with the way it is handling right now, as we believe is Will Power. And as I say, turning very consistent laps. These two are doing a great job. And Paul Tracy, he was out on the red tyres in a warm-up this morning, and he said he was really struggling. 5 or 6 laps, and then the tyres were really going away. But I think maybe he was trying to throw everybody a bit of a curveball, because Paul Tracy has done now 27 laps on these red tyres and still turning fast pace. Now here we go. The two ladies onto pit lane. Marty Snyder is in the Forsyth Championship Racing pit, waiting for Paul Tracy to pull into his pit box. As Will Power leading the way, and we believe that Robert Dornbosch, also the third place car, also on pit lane after 27 laps. Paul Tracy, they're just waiting for the last of the fuel to go in. We've had a lot of problems with the refueling systems on these cars, and clearly Walker Racing Team Australia has had a clean stop there for Will Power, not so clean for Paul Tracy. A big long delay waiting for the last of that fuel to go in.
I know, I was looking at it. It took forever. I mean, I couldn't see anything going wrong. It's not like they had a problem or anything. At least I could see, but it just took forever. I really don't know what it is that slowed them down.
They've had these problems all week with these fuel systems on the car. It's a brand new fuel system, and it's just not allowing the fuel to go in cleanly. They came up with some brand new parts on Wednesday and Thursday for the teams to put into their cars, but they're still having problems all the way through the weekend. And a lot of teams, both of the Team Australia cars, they had to hold the fuel systems out this morning after the warm-up, and they're just doing everything they can to try to minimize the damage. They're just hoping they're going to have a clean race, and clearly it wasn't a clean pit stop for Paul Tracy. It's now Catherine Legg who's out in the front of the field. Wow, Catherine Legg from Tristan Gomedy. They made a pit stop in the very, very early stages, or during those early yellows, so on a slightly different strategy to everybody else. They're now on pit lane, we believe, and it's Alex Tagliani, who was the first of the leaders to make a pit stop, is now in the lead of this motor race.
Yeah, this race is going to be very exciting when we get towards the end, and everybody has pitted.
Yeah, so there we go. There goes Will Power. He's shown now in 6th place after his pit stop ahead of him. So Tagliani now leads from Simon Pagenaud. Ryan DeYell for PCM, Pacific Coast Motorsports, in 3rd place. A remarkable debut for that team. And Ryan is showing some very quick laps as well. Last time around, a 1 minute 22.9, which is a half a second quicker than our race leader, Alex Tagliani. Ryan and the PCM team teammate Alex Figge, they've been driving those two together in sports car competition the last couple of years. Prior to that, they were in the Atlantic Series. Then they went off and did the American Le Mans Series, drove a Chevrolet Corvette. Last year, they raced a Pontiac-powered Riley in the Grand Am Series, and now back to open wheel racing and loving it, and doing a very good job too.
Oh yeah, it's a great opportunity for both of them, and you know, it's very nice to see a new team like that do such a good job. You know, it's not easy. They're competing against other teams that they've been around for 20, 30 years. So I'm really impressed how well they're doing.
Yeah, Ryan DeYell, 24 years of age, lives in Orlando these days, from Lanarkshire, Scotland originally, and he made his debut in the Champ Car World Series. You might remember a couple of years ago in Toronto in 2005 for Dale Coyne Racing, did a very good job to bring that car home in 9th place on that occasion. And it's been a couple of years to find himself back in the Champ Car World Series. Alex Tagliani leads here in Vegas. 30 laps in the books here. The Champ Car Vegas Grand Prix, the opening race of the 2007 Champ Car World Series. Alex Tagliani leads by not very much from Simon Pagenaud. There is the battle for the lead of this race. The Lexington Energy Services car of Alex Tagliani, the black and red car, ahead of the familiar gold and green colours of Team Australia. Simon Pagenaud, the rookie driver, his first ever Champ Car start. Last year's Atlantic champion, won a $2 million prize for winning that championship from France originally, and doing a brilliant job this weekend, Oriol.
Oh yeah, very, very much. I mean, he did an outstanding championship last year, and all weekend. I mean, actually, all through the testing in the winter, he's been extremely fast, and today too. I mean, obviously both Walker cars, I'm very impressed. They're doing awesome job, and we'll see. Again, it's the first race of the season, and again, the cars have to make it to the end, all of them. It's just very tough out there right now.
It is, but you've got to hand it to this man, Simon Pagenaud, just remarkable. He's on Friday was the first time he'd ever run on the Bridgestone red compound tyres, the red sidewall tyres, the softer compound tyres. Never even run them on them before. Friday qualifying P2, second quickest, quicker even than his mentor Sebastian Bourdais.
I know, it's crazy, but talking about Sebastian Bourdais, you know who?
Talking about Sebastian Bourdais.
I was just going to say, he's done. Now definitely he's done. I was just going to say he had just done the fastest lap of the race. He did 21.6, which is really fast, and maybe too fast.
Maybe too fast indeed. It was a 21.6, and that's just been eclipsed as well. A couple of guys gone quicker. Neil Jarney, Paul Tracy and Robert Dorbos, all about 21.3, 21.4, but look at that. The left front wheel ripped off that number one car. Marty Snyder.
And you guys hear the conversation, Bill, with Sebastian Bourdais. They want him to park it. They have to use this car at Long Beach if they can. They do have a backup car. They were planning to try and test these cars at Phoenix, but obviously that may be out the window now. The reason we wanted to talk about this also was because the toe-in was knocked in on the car. So the toe link was knocked in on the car. They knew it was going to be a matter of time before they had another tire problem. They just didn't think they would run into the wall like they did last time.
Wow, thanks Marty Snyder. So that's the news down from the pit lane, and a problem has been...
So wait for safety there. I'm assuming you're at about 11A or B past the chicane.
I think that was Craig Hampson, wasn't it, on the radio there too?
Yeah, I believe so.
Sebastian. It was just before the chicane, just between turn and 10 and 11, and I don't know, they may well have to send out the safety team to get that car out of the way. There's only a few safe havens, they call them, on this racetrack, when they can get the cars out of the way without having to go full course caution. But certainly an apparent mistake there from Sebastian Bourdais, and it's now Alex Tagliani under increasing pressure from Simon Pagenaud. Tristan Gomondi in third place, and Catherine Legg. This is the battle for third and fourth. Gomondi, and here is Catherine, and she is doing a stellar job again, isn't she?
Yeah, very much. She has to keep everything together, because again, there's still cars that are going to break down, and there's still people are going to make mistakes. It's just the first race, and you got to make sure you finish it. And if she keeps doing what she's doing today, I think she could end up in the top 5.
She could indeed, and Catherine Legg, she's contracted to Kevin Kalkoven. She drove, I should say, for PKV Racing last year. Under a lot of pressure there, and she's made the move this season to Dale Coyne Racing. A lot less pressure on her, of course, in that sort of surroundings. Really not much expected of you when you're driving for Dale, and that shouldn't be really meant as a slight to Dale Coyne, who's one of the most enthusiastic of team owners out there, but certainly doesn't have the same sort of resources that many of the other teams have. And Catherine, she just felt right at home there right away. The first test she drove in Sebring at the end of January, she was fastest of all for a little while during that session, ended up setting top 5 or 6 times. She's really loving her time here at Dale Coyne Racing, and here she is now running in the top 4. So there goes Alex Tagliani and Simon.
Take it here. Thank you very much. Paul Tracy is coming back to pit road because when they came here, they did not get the car full of fuel. They also think Will Power did not get his car full of fuel. They changed 4 tires, sent them out. We'll have to check and make sure they did get it full this time. They didn't want to take a chance on running out. I asked one of the engineers earlier. He said we were woefully short of getting it full last time, and they stayed a long time last time.
That's clearly true, because Paul only did 5 or 6 laps before he had to come back onto pit lane, and as we've seen, it was a long stop as well, Oriel, and we've seen it all weekend long. It's just this new fueling system on these cars, it's just as the parts are really not terribly consistent, and they're not able to fuel the cars. There's a new membrane effectively that seals the internal part of the fuel cell to the outside of the chassis of the carbon fiber tub, and they're not sealing very well, and there's a membrane in there that is kind of flexing, and it just sometimes doesn't allow the fuel to go into the tank. Probably doesn't vent. The system doesn't vent when the fuel goes in. The air doesn't come out cleanly, and you just really don't know how much fuel has gone in until after the pit stop is made. It's messy.
I know. I mean, that's the problem, and it's a new car. It's a new car. So as we were saying, all the teams got actually the cars quite late, and they've all focused, and they've all worked really hard and really well trying to figure out the car, how to make it faster, the setup of the car, making sure sure it was reliable. Just there was a lot of work done in the pre-season testing, but there are still things that you don't think about, or that it's a first race and will have to be improved, like the fuel cell. It's one of those things that until you get to the race, actually, you don't really know, if it's going to work or not, and that's the problem they're having right now.
Yeah, and everybody knew that coming into this weekend. Most of the guys have made it work okay, but certainly a couple of problems up and down pit lane. And as you say, with a brand new race car, you've got to expect those sort of things. But here is this battle for the lead. It is Alex Tagliani. He's only got one win before in his career, and he's pumped this weekend. I was talking to him last night. He was sitting there relaxed in his new surroundings, and he's really enjoying having Justin Wilson as a teammate. Last 2 or 3 years, first at Rocket Sports and then at Team Australia the last couple of years, working with rookie drivers, and now he's working with Justin Wilson and making full benefit of that, using the extra experience that Justin has to work with the engineers and get the most out of these cars.
It does make a huge difference, when it's two experienced guys working together. I mean, when you're a rookie, you can be fast or as fast. When I was 18, I think I was as fast or as low as I am now.
Well, I can tell you, talking about what happened with Paul Tracy, I got some thumbs up confirmation here at Team Australia that Will Power did indeed take a full load of fuel. Thumbs up all the way around. I can also tell you they're working feverishly on the system this morning before they came out to race.
Yes, they were indeed, and as I said before, both of the Team Australia cars, the crews were working. They worked long into the night. They were there till about 1 o'clock this morning. Most of the teams were working very, very late. I think actually the R-Sports guys were about the first team to leave the garage area last night. That was at 11:30 at night. A lot of these teams were up until 2 o'clock in the morning, including Team Australia and also the Forsyth Championship Racing team working on the car of Mario Dominguez. And then they were back, most of them, about 5 or 6 this morning. So very little sleep, some of these teams. They're just doing everything they possibly can to minimize the chance of having a problem in the race this afternoon.
Yeah, and we see Power, our former leader, putting a lot of pressure on Catherine. And I mean, eventually, I think he's going to pass her. I mean, his fastest lap is, a second and a half faster than hers. So it's just a matter of time.
It certainly is. But Tagliani leads, and we hear from the pit lane that he's been told by Paul Gentilozzi, the team owner, to conserve fuel. Don't use too much fuel. I don't think he'll be able to reach the end of this race. He still has 43 minutes to go without making another pit stop. But if he can just make a quick splash of fuel towards the end, that might be enough for Tagliani. So he's pacing himself right now. Last time around, a 1 minute 23.4. His best lap of the race, a 1:22.0. The fastest lap of the race, set by Neil Jani at 1:21.3. So we see pretty much the whole field lapping within just over 1 second from top to bottom on this field. So they're very, very closely matched. Get down to the pit lane one more time. Or not. Tagliani pulled out a little bit over Simon Pagenaud that time around. Let's have a look at the relative lap times as they come across to complete lap 37. And there goes Tagliani at a 1 minute 22.6, so a good bit quicker than he had been going the last few laps. 23s he'd been doing for the last 3 or 4 laps had Alex Tagliani. There he goes, a 1:22.6, so within a half a second of his best lap of the race. Pulls out a goodly margin there. Now the gap between himself and Pagenaud, 1.4 seconds. Looking back down the road, Tristan Gomendy in 3rd place, about 7 seconds behind our race leader, with whom we are watching right there going into turn 3.
Just spoke to Paul Gentilozzi, who informed me that the leader, Alex, has 44 seconds on Power to pass it. Their strategy right now is saving fuel.
That's Michelle Beiser down on pit lane there with the R Sports team, and she's telling us that Tagliani has 44 seconds of the Cosworth Power to pass less left for this race. Our scoring system here is showing that he's used it all, and I must admit I saw that earlier on and I wondered whether he'd used it all, because there didn't seem to be too many opportunities to have used all that power to pass. That could be a bit of a glitch there on our timing system. We'll have to wait and see on that one. I guess we won't know whether he's going to be able to use it anymore. And here now is a look back to the battle for fourth place with Catherine Legg holding off this man Will Power.
Yeah, she's doing actually her best laps of the race right now, and she's just at 22.7, and it's just enough to hold him behind. So she's doing good. I mean, you can tell the way she's driving that she's driving very focused. Last year as a rookie, she made a few mistakes. She made some mistakes, but they are expected. As a rookie, I see her a lot better prepared this year.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you were a teammate last year, Oriole, and you saw how she came in. I mean, she had terribly little experience coming into last season. Yes, she'd done a full season of Atlantic the previous year, during which she'd won 3 races, but that was her very first full season of racing. So when she came in last year, yeah, a little bit raw, but she was quick on occasion, wasn't she? But we'll come back to that in a minute. We've got 38 laps in the books, 40 minutes to go here in Vegas.
Normandy is in the pit. He will be able to go the rest of the distance if indeed they get a full tank. You can see he's getting a hit from a stick behind there to let him know that they've got a full tank, a full dump. Jimmy Vassar, one of the team owners here at PKV, saying they will be able to go all the way to the finish from here.
No doubt about it, they will be able to go to the end of here. There goes Bruno Junqueira. I think that was down to the inside, but look at that. These two positions, they've changed, haven't they? I think it's now Simon Pagenaud has got out of the pits ahead of Alex Tagliani, so a great stop it would appear for Team Australia there. The Aussie Vineyards car number 15, the reigning Atlantic champion, Simon Pagenaud. He's 22 years of age, lives nowadays in Indianapolis, from France, of course, and now he's not in the lead of the race because we've got different people on different strategies, but great work by him, great work by Walker Racing Team Australia, and as you can see, right behind him now is Alex Tagliani, and right before those pit stops, those positions were reversed.
That is very difficult. What we're seeing now, I believe, is one of the most difficult things as a driver we get to do, which is out of the pits on cold tires and trying to push as much as you can. And he's a rookie. This is the things you need. You just need races. Even if you're a great driver, you need experience. And you see Tag has a little more experience and was able to pass him on cold tires.
Indeed he was. And Tagliani's got 117 races under his belt, and good heads-up driving from both of those guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's very difficult to not make a mistake and keep pushing on cold tires. You never know. You're guessing where the limit of the tire is for 2-3 laps, and sometimes you feel you're going too slow and you just try a little more and you're in the wall. So Pagenaud, I think, is doing the right thing. It's better to be a little cautious for him in these first races until he really is able to feel the tires.
We're hearing he might have a bit of a problem. Perhaps the engine has gone off song for Simon Pagenaud, and can we hear it there? Yeah, clearly he's not making any ground as he down the straight, so it seems to have gone wrong for Simon Pagenaud. What a shame. He's done a fabulous job this weekend, the rookie driver from France, the reigning Atlantic champion, but it looks now that he has some sort of problem, clearly not up to speed as he goes around the section of corners that go around the Golden Nugget Hotel here in downtown Las Vegas, and while it's all going wrong, it would appear for Simon Pagenaud, his teammate Will Power is out in the lead of this race once again. Will Power leads by 5 seconds now over Robert Dornbosch from Minardi Team USA, and Dornbosch has just turned the fastest lap of the race at a 1:20.751. That's a stunning pace.
I mean, I'm very surprised. I mean, I know he's a good driver, but he's doing great for a rookie, being that quick. He's second, and as you said, he just hit the fastest lap of the race.
Robert Dornbosch, he's also the test driver for the Red Bull Formula 1 team. There we see Pagenaud pulling off onto the pit lane, and he's going to hope they can make some sort of a change onto the to that whatever has gone wrong with, we would presume, the electronics on that car. But he's clearly not up to full speed, and it's a shame because he was doing a wonderful job, and a great service by Team Australia got him into, well, not necessarily into the lead, but into a position to come up with a good finish. Turn off.
We can see they're getting work going immediately on the back of Simon Pagenaud's car. We're going to be moving over towards Derek Walker and Rob Edwards to try to get an update here in just a second and find out where they're going, and we're listening to the radio right now as well, boys.
We just got a problem with the engine. We need to fix it, okay?
That was Rob Edwards there, the team manager, former very accomplished engineer in his own right. 10-4 says Simon, he's a very cool customer. You've got to be so disappointed.
Here at the moment, so before we restart you, we're going to need to remember to get you back into neutral. Happy neutral.
So again, that was Rob Edwards there, the team manager for Team Australia, and back on the other end of that team here is Will Power in the lead of the race, and he too now is down in the 1 minute 20s, 1:20.806 I should say for Will Power last time around, maintaining that gap just under 5 seconds now between Power and Dornbosch, and we're expecting Robert Dornbosch to be onto pit lane fairly soon. Neil Jarni in the first of the PKV cars, the Red Bull car, in third place. Bruno Junqueira in fourth, ahead of Paul Tracy, Tagliani, Gomendi, Catherine Legg, and then Simon Pagenaud shown in ninth place now, but in the pit lane. And Alex Figge has made a slightly unscheduled stop a few laps ago, running in 10th place at the moment, ahead of Mario Dominguez, who's also had a long pit stop.
Yeah, we see the first.
There goes Dornbosch on.
I was going to say the first 4 cars have not pitted yet, and everybody else has. And Power has like 40 seconds advantage to Tagliani, who's the first car that has stopped already. Actually, Tracy now.
Down here,
so
guys,
I think after the stop, we'll
having a great run today. Again, the fuel cell situation. Team Minardi has actually stationed somebody up on the wall to make sure that that fuel filler begins to bubble. That indicates that that fuel cell is completely full. But as you can see, these gas stops are taking a little longer than normal. It seems like an eternity. The tires have already been changed, and he's away.
That certainly seemed like a little long. Generally speaking, to come in and out to make a pit stop, it takes about 40 seconds. Cameron is down in the pits of this PKV team, waiting for Neil Jarni, who I believe stayed out one more time, as did this man, Will Power, our race leader. Faster again that time around for Will Power, 1:20.481. So again, resets the fastest lap of the race, and this is the time to make your mark, isn't it, Oriel, before you make your final pit stop?
Exactly, because he's going to stop and go out in cold tires in front of the other guys. I think he has enough an advantage that he's still going to have a little cushion and be able to, not have to risk too much on his outlap. But definitely, if you can, put a couple more seconds now, it's the time to do it.
And he stayed out one more time, did Will Power. I reckon, I was told this morning by some of the engineers on pit lane, it takes about 40 seconds to peel off, make a pit stop, and rejoin the racetrack. And his lead right now over Paul Tracy, who's currently in 5th, with Jarni, Junqueira, and Dornbosch in between them. Well, Dornbosch is just making his stop. But he's about 40 seconds ahead of that bunch is Will Power, and that's about the time it'll take to come in and make his final pit stop. So that is why he has been told by his team to put the hammer down, turn a couple of quick laps, make that pit stop, and get back out, hopefully in the lead.
That's 40 seconds when everything goes smooth. We've seen today that, those fuel stops are taking a little longer than usual. Wow, that's an amazing lap Power just did, 19.9. He's doing exactly what we're talking. He's just pushing as much as he can right now, because these laps are, are the ones that may give him the win.
1:19.934. That is incredible. That's almost a second quicker than anybody else has done so far in this race. I think it is actually more than a second quicker than everybody. No, I lied. 22. Well, close to it. Anyhow, he's absolutely flying. Is Will Power. He's just done a wonderful job this weekend. 26 years of age is Will Power from Toowoomba in Queensland, Australia. He got his first pole in Surfers Paradise towards the end of last season. Now he pulls onto pit lane. Cameron Steele is in the Team Australia pit, waiting for Will Power to bring this car in for what they hope will be a clean and final pit stop of the afternoon. Cameron Steele, look at a bit of a lock up there, down to the 50-mile-an-hour limit. Let's listen.
You're running great. You just got to keep doing what you're doing. Right on the mark.
Oh no, he's made a mistake coming into the pit lane as Will Power. He locked him up there, Oriel, and what a costly error that is.
Went a little too hard. Sometimes, by the rules, if you touch one of your crew members, you get a penalty. I don't know. I think it's going to be borderline. It wasn't too bad. Obviously, just tried to come a little too quick in. It's going to be very tight.
Yes, it is.
Let's see where Tracy is. He's going to come up just in front of Tracy.
Wow. This is potentially crucial mistake there from Will Power. There is PT just ahead of him. Oh boy, we've got a race on our hands right now. It would appear that Paul Tracy has got out ahead, but they're on slightly different sequences now. But PT already has been in for his second and hopefully final pit stop of the afternoon. And there is, I think that was one of the PCN cars in between them, and a lapped car, I think, of Alex Figge, because apparently Ryan DeYell has been in the pits for quite some time now. So there is Will Power. He's got to get way past this slower car. It's difficult in this section of the track. Good work by Alex Figge to let him go.
Yeah, very much. This is going to be very interesting now. I mean, I think Power is definitely faster today than Tracy. Not only has been faster all race, but now he has fresher tires for the same amount of fuel as both cars, because obviously they both have enough to finish the race. So will be very interesting, because I can tell you that Paul Tracy is not going to give him that position as easy as did in the beginning of the race. You know, now that it's the end and it's going to go for the win, Power is going to have to to risk a little more, because Paul is going to want to win that first race for sure.
You're right, PT does not give a lot away, does he?
But again, I mean, Power has been so much faster than anybody that I think it's going to be.
Champ car drivers need to keep their cool, because in the heat of the race, all hell can break loose. Cars run fast, emotions run high. Racing on the streets of Long Beach, California. Champ Car World Series, Sunday, live on Eurosport 2.
So there goes Bruno Junqueira, the number 19 Sonny's barbecue car of Dale Coyne Racing leads this motor race. A great moment for Dale, certainly, to see his car out in front again. Hasn't happened for a little while, but he's had a bunch of good drivers in those cars over the years, including Oriol Servia. This is, I reckon, they're the 54th and 55th drivers to drive for Dale Coyne Racing since he made his debut in this series way back in 1984, when Dale himself drove the car. Look at that, Bruno. He's pushing hard now. He knows it's important to turn some quick laps. We're assuming he's got to make one more pit stop.
Yes, he does.
We're assuming he does, at least, unless he's managed to conserve an awful lot of fuel in the early stages. But we've still got 28 minutes to go, so yeah, there's no way he can make it to the end. So there's Bruno. He's doing some pretty consistent laps, high 1 minute 21s, low 1 minute 22s, but he's certainly going to drop a fair way down the order when he comes in for that final sequence pit stop of the afternoon. But it's still a good run for Bruno Junqueira, and he will really relish being out of the front of the field, won't he?
Yeah, he's enjoying these moments. But again, after he pits, he's going to be probably in 9th position behind Gianni. But I think he's been faster through the race than Gianni, so if there will be a yellow and they all get together after, I think, he wants a podium today really bad.
Yes, he does, doesn't he? And you're talking about Neil Gianni there. He's been struggling a little bit, particularly when the temperatures get warm in the as this weekend is progressing. Cool conditions, that PKV car was working very well for him. But they made some changes to the car before the warm-up for PKV Racing, and Gianni was a lot happier with that car. So we'll see how he goes in the final stages of this race. 26 minutes to go. We've got 48 laps now in the books, and there goes Bruno one more time down Ogden Boulevard here. Well, actually down Main Street, that was onto turn 3, turn 4, turn 5 here, the left hand. Take about 60 miles an hour here, second gear, all of these sequence of corners. Left again here, short straight, right hand again, minimum speed about 60 miles an hour, top speed between those corners about 90, up now into third gear, down to second gear again for the left-hander at turn 10, under the Mazda bridge, up into third gear again, to about 110 miles an hour, down to second gear, 65 miles an hour through that corner, now accelerating down Ogden Boulevard towards this turn 11 chicane, which he takes at around about 115, 120 miles an hour, and now Bruno will peel off and come onto pit lane for his final pit stop of the afternoon for Dale Coyne Racing. Bruno's got a lot of experience. You don't expect him to make any pit stops coming onto pit lane. We'll see how he copes with this stop, Oriel. Cameron Steele is down there on the pit lane.
I'm waiting here for Bruno Junqueira. Remember, he won a race in each of his first 5 seasons of the Champ Car. Last year, he was not able to do it. Now, you'll see the umbrella coming over on the back of the gas man. He is waiting to find out how much fuel is going into the car. They are going to be able to fill it a little short. They've shut it. Problems with the fuel fill going on right now.
Yeah, what a shame for Dale. Clearly some problems getting that fuel in there. Fred Michael is the fueler for, I beg your pardon, sorry, it's Scott McGough actually is the fueler for the car number 19 of Dale Coyne Racing, and clearly having some problems just getting that fuel in. So you
It's got to go straight. The valve never went.
That's Dale Coyne on the right of the screen, and a bit of a miscue there. Oh dear, it looks like the fuel didn't get in at all, did it?
Yeah.
Oh, we've seen that problem all the way through.
Not even 1 gallon, so we're going to have to repeat all the sequence again.
That's a shame for Bruno Junqueira. Yeah, the valve wasn't opening. That's finger trouble apparently on the part of the guys behind the wall. It didn't open the fuel valve to let the fuel out of the tank. Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's a shame. I feel really bad for Bruno.
So there goes Tracy back out in front of the motor race. He leads from Will Power. Alex Tagliani, we believe, will come across the line in 3rd place ahead of Robert Dornbosch. Tristan Gomendy will be in 5th place. Catherine Legg in 6th, and she's very close behind Tristan as well, so that could be quite a battle in the closing stages. But there is PT, and ahead of him it was actually one of the Team Australia cars, so presumably that would be Pagenaud back out after a long pit stop. So again, have a look at the pit stop of Bruno Junqueira, and we can't really see whether the fuel is flowing in there, but the fueler there, Scott McGough, is clearly saying, come on, open the valve, open the valve, open the valve. There's a valve on the fuel tank there, and it's somebody's job. I don't know whose job it is, but you can see the frustration for Scott there. He gets that fuel. He knows that no fuel went in. They got some. They don't have all that many crew members on that team, and that's a big disaster. He'll be so disappointed. They work so hard, these guys do, but sometimes it's just a little details, isn't it?
Whoa. I know, you gotta pay attention to the pit stops. You know, you spend a lot of money making a car fast, but then you can win or lose a race in the pit stops. You know, and for one reason or another, it's been a weakness for Dale Coyne's team. And when I was there, you know, we were able to have great cars in some races and surprise everybody with the speed we had in the car. But then, you know, we would lose it in the pit stop. So it's something that, you know, you got to pay a lot of attention to.
That's right. You had a podium finish at Laguna Seca for Dale Coyne Racing 2 or 3 years ago, Oriol Servia. And as you say, the cars can be fast, but you do need to work on the pit stops. And last year, it was Cristiano D'Amata that took a ride in that team. And I can remember him clearly on Saturday evening at Long Beach, the first race of the season. At 7 o'clock in the evening, there was Cristiano on the pit lane helping the team with the pit stops. He was sitting in the car. They were doing dummy pit stops, and it was he was pumping up the guys and just giving them the enthusiasm to do the best job that they possibly can. And we'll talk about Cristiano with you in just a moment, but let's again see, here is the battle for the lead of the motor race. We're watching here car number 5, Will Power, our pole sitter, led much of the race, but now back in 2nd place. It's Paul Tracy who leads, and Will Power is closing.
Yeah, Power is going to win this race. I mean, unless something bad happens, he just has so much more speed than anybody.
17 laps, that's the estimation from the pit lane from Derek Walker there. 21 minutes and a half to go. They're estimating if it stays green all the way, it'll be 17 laps. Certainly plenty of time. Plenty of time, certainly for Will Power, so he's just going to take it easy at this stage in the game. And just, well, we've got a little bit of status quo here. We just mentioned Cristiano D'Amata. He had a horrible crash last year. He was in a coma for several weeks. He's now back home in Brazil. You and I have both spoken to him lately, Oriol, and he sounds in great form. I think you spoke to him just a day or two ago, didn't you? Tell us how he's doing.
I spoke with him last night, and I went to visit him in Brazil 3 weeks ago, and I had a great time. You know, the excuse was to go see him in at his hometown, see how he was doing, and I really liked the excuse. I mean, I had a great time in Brazil, in Belo Horizonte, and I can tell, I'm very happy to tell, he's 100%. It's a miracle. All the doctors are shocked of, you know, how quickly he's recovered. You know, he's 100%. I mean, I was there and we were doing 3 hours on the mountain bike every day, you know, and it's just ready to race. It's just waiting for the doctors to give him the okay, but he's definitely capable.
And he's going to come back and see us all in Long Beach next weekend, is that right?
100%.
Great to see him. We just saw Bruno Junqueira making another pit stop there. Hopefully this time they got all the fuel into that car. And we're hearing Paul Tracy is...
I think he may have to come in again. I think
3 laps to go.
I think he had some issues. Remember, with the fuel, he had to stay much longer than was supposed to. So maybe they couldn't get a full fill like we saw with Bruno actually. So. I'm sure he's hoping for some yellow so he can save a little bit of fuel and doesn't have to come in again.
Yeah, that's he's got what 19 minutes to go, just over 19 minutes to go in this race. We've got 53 laps in the books, and Paul Tracy leads, but has to make another pit stop. 53 laps down in the opening race of the new Champ Car World Series season. There is Bruno Junqueira, the red and white car, the Sonny's barbecue car, now about to go 1 lap down, or all but 1 lap down, and it's Paul Tracy, our race leader, behind him. And look who's closing up. Yes, it's Will Power for Team Australia. Car number 5, the Aussie Vineyards car, the yellow and green car, is closing inexorably on Paul Tracy. May well turn out to be a moot point because we believe PT has to make one more pit stop, but still, there goes Paul down to the inside. Bruno very smartly there stays out of the way of both of our race leaders. Very courteous driving from Bruno Junqueira. He knows he's not battling with these guys, at least not this afternoon. Maybe he will in the future, and if the situation are reversed, he wants the courtesy shown to them. He does exactly that to our race leaders. Good driving.
Yeah, that shows, you know, smart driving. When you're going to go a lap down, you don't want to get the leaders in trouble. And you know, if you're, as you say, if you're not courteous to them, then they won't.
Drivers have short memories, don't they? Basically, well, long memories. I should say.
Long memories. You know, then they're going to give it back to you.
So there is PT. Car number 3, the Forsyth Championship Racing Team, his 250th Champ Car start. He's done it all as Paul Tracy, 30 career wins, 7th on the all-time list, just ahead of Rick Mears. Unser Jr. is next, he cites, has 31. I'm sure he hopes PT does to make it 31 this afternoon. I think it's probably unlikely. They had some refueling problems with that car number 3. We believe he's going to be onto the pit lane one more time. That almost certainly will take him out of contention for the win, but nevertheless, it's been a very promising start to the season for Forsyth Championship Racing and Paul Tracy.
Definitely. In the winter testing, they seem to have some issues getting the speed out of the new car, but all this weekend he's been at the front all the time.
Yeah, they were inconsistent, weren't they, through that testing? They were quick in Sebring. They struggled in the second test at MSR Houston in Texas, a road course down there, and then they were quicker again at Laguna Seca.
Yes, exactly, and I think he's coming in this lap, and it's a shame because it was going, as I said, it was going to be exciting to see Power, although he's a lot faster. I was sure Paul was going to give him a hard time.
Yes.
to let him win this race. Unfortunately, if he has to pit next lap, he's just going to give you know, the race to Power.
Yeah, but no doubt Will's deserved it. Team Australia, they've done a fabulous job over the winter as well. The second full-time season for Will Power. It's PT out in front right now. Car number 3 there is the yellow and green car. Team Australia, Aussie Vineyards, Will Power. He's been on the pole and he's looking now to get back into the lead of this race. I'm sure he's been told by Derek Walker, hey, PT has to come into the pits. Maybe put a bit of pressure on him, but don't do anything silly. You know, the race is yours. It'll come back to you. Be patient. So I'm sure that's what Will Power is being told. I'm sure that is what he will do. Alex Tagliani is still shown in 3rd place. Robert Dornbosch in 4th. It goes down to the 85 mile an hour speed limit coming up the hill here. That's Neil Mickelwright on the radio. Marty Snyder is in the pit lane. Yeah, Neil Mickelwright, watch your speed on pit lane, he tells Paul Tracy. 50 miles an hour. Paul will peel into the Forsyth Championship Racing pit. Marty Snyder. good stop there.
And you heard him say, Bill, it was going to be a short fill. So that was a short fill. They did not need to get him full, as Jan pointed out earlier.
9-second pit stop there for PT. Was it as long as that? Yeah, certainly a good stop there for PT. That's, you just needed a few gallons of fuel really to get to the end of this race. Looked like a good stop for PT. Where's it going to come out? That's going to be the interesting thing. Probably be in 6th place, I would reckon. I think he'll probably come out ahead of Neil Yanni, or not. We'll have to wait and see. But in the meantime, we have Will Power back in the lead of the race. He has been the man all weekend long. Cameron Steele is in the pit lane. Will Power coming up to complete lap 57. Past the lane, grandstand one more time.
Well, I've caught up with Will Power's teammate Simone Pagenaud in his rookie debut here in Champ Car. Not the way you're hoping it would go.
Well, yeah, I mean, what can I say? We've been doing a great job. You know, we were right on the pace all the weekend. I struggled a little bit in the beginning of the race with the cold tires, but after that we're right on the pace, fighting for a podium, which is good on a rookie day. I think we'll be a good contender for the championship. We just need to fix some reliability problem, and I think we'll be right there.
Today an engine problem put him out, and you'll remember that he missed the warm-up this morning with the fuel cell issue.
He did indeed, yes. Simon Pagenaud didn't get out at all this morning in the morning warm-up. They found a fuel leak on that car. The cell had split when they went to fire it up before that session. And there's another car out of the race. I think that's Neil Yanni, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It is Yanni with seems to have an engine issue.
He does. He's pulled off there right behind a McDonald's car. The dead car part there between turn 10 and 11. Neil Yanni, he was running in 7th place for PKV Racing, and that's certainly not what he wanted this afternoon. His teammate Christian Gomendy is running. Hello, somebody else off there as well. I think that's one of the PCM cars.
Yeah, and he's tall.
Alex Figge has turned that car around. Not quite sure where that is actually. It's difficult to get that perspective from where they are, but the safety team is with him. They're going to get him back underway. Figge running in the top 10 at the moment. He's 4 laps down, and he will they will try at least a bumper start these cars. They were supposed to have onboard starters, the cars this year. Well, they do have onboard starters, but the electronics on those onboard starters have been causing problems over the weekend. So all the teams were told this morning, disable those onboard starters. And again, it's all part of these teething problems. There's Alex Tagliani.
And you can see Alex Tagliani is back in. They thought they were going to be able to go the distance, but they were banking on another yellow flag. They didn't get it. It's a splash and go for the number 8 car.
Watch your speed. Okay, Tug, you get onto that.
That's Will Power. That's Phil Howard, I should say, there on the radio.
Hell, buddy, you with me?
Wow, and who is third?
Yeah, who is third? Your former teammate.
I said at the beginning of the race, you know, she could be top 5 the way she was driving, and he's third right now. I mean, she has Gomendy quite close behind, but you know, she has a great opportunity to be on the podium with Dale Coyne.
How cool would that be? Will Power then leads the motor race by 18.3 seconds over Robert Dornbosch. 58 laps now in the books, and Catherine Leggett is in 3rd place for Dale Coyne Racing. Tristan Gomendy closing up, however. Last couple of laps by Catherine have been relatively slow, down in the 1:25, 25s, a lot slower than she's been going in the earlier stages. Paul Tracy now in 4th, about 10 seconds behind that pair. And then Tagliani is running in 6th after that final pit stop. And there is PT back on the road and in 5th place. Still about 11 minutes to go, so maybe he can make up some more ground in the closing stages. Certainly a little bit of a way to go, and perhaps an opportunity or two for PT to get back onto the podium. Marty Snyder.
Well, Bill, so I don't get accused of lying, I'm going to let Neil Mickelwright tell us the truth. Can you guys make it all the way on fuel, Neil?
Absolutely. Yeah.
No problem at all.
No, we're good to go now on fuel. We're just giving it everything we've got, hoping a few other people have to stop or slow down to make it.
The one quote that Neil told Paul earlier on was, I want you to drive as hard as humanly possible. You have the car to win this race.
Well, you know that PT is going to try as hard as humanly possible. He drives harder than most most humans would believe possible, doesn't he, Peter? He never leaves anything on the table, that's for sure.
I know. As a driver, you know, these things, you know, now makes us laugh. But when you're driving, it's the last thing you want to hear. Sometimes they tell you, okay, now I really need you to go fast. and you're thinking, you know, what do you think I've been trying to do the last hour and a half, you know? They always say these things in the radio that makes you go crazy, you know, because you are trying as hard as you can. Even when you're saving fuel, you know, we see that lap times are slower, but you're saving fuel, but you're almost risking as much as in qualifying because you try to keep up the pace even when you're saving fuel. So, I mean, the driver, you're pushing every lap out there.
10 minutes left in the race. There is our race leader, the yellow and green car of Will Power. Behind him, the laps car of Bruno Junqueira, who's now in 7th place. And we just talked about Catherine a couple of laps ago. We haven't seen her on track, but she's certainly slowed considerably. The last lap around was a 1:37, so it would appear that Catherine has some sort of a problem. She's dropped out now of the podium position. Tristan Gomendy is now in 3rd place for PKV Racing. That's a remarkable effort. So it's Will Power, Robert Dornbos, Tristan Gomendy with less than 10 minutes to go here in Vegas. So now less than 8 minutes to go in the Champ Car Vegas Grand Prix Round 1 of the 2007 Champ Car World Series. Will Power holds a comfortable lead and he's lapping now pretty comfortably around about the 1:22 mark, 1:22.7 last time round for Power. Robert Dornbos, meanwhile, he's still got the hammer down, 1:21.2, but I think this man is just taking it easy. He has no reason to extend himself whatsoever.
No, especially with the fuel things they've been having. Although they think they have enough fuel to finish the race, they don't want to risk it. So if you can save a little bit, you know, you're better off.
Indeed you are. There is the Aussie Jet car there. Muirman's on the back wing. That is
Tristan Gomendy coming in right now. And you'll remember, you can see him sliding past the marks. Everybody here in pit road talking about how slippery the pits are. There you saw the tap. It was just a splash. You will remember, however, though, the Champ Car veteran Jimmy Vasser did tell me they had enough fuel to go all the way. They ended up needing a splash.
So that was Tristan Gomendy there in the second of the PKV Racing cars. You have to wonder whether there was a slight either miscalculation or they didn't get the strategy quite right. A very late pit stop. Inside the final 8 minutes there for Tristan Gomendy, so looks like a podium finish perhaps has gone out of the window for him, and that will elevate Paul Tracy into 3rd place. So Paul's had his problems this afternoon and maybe now at least finishing on the podium.
What a crazy race. I mean, we knew that being the first race of the season was going to be a survival race. You know, the guy with getting out of trouble, a car being reliable was going to be a podium finish, and that's what happening. Even Tracy had a lot of problems with the fuel and still going to finish in the podium.
We haven't seen much from this afternoon, but that is Tristan Gomendy, the pay-by-touch Mega Spiera car of PKV Racing, car number 22, dark blue colour scheme, and Tristan Gomendy's got a lot of experience. He drove last year, first of all in GP2, which is a final training series for Formula One. He also drove in a World Series by Renault, so a lot of experience over the years, has several top finishes in various different championships, Formula Renault, the Elf Campus Series before that in his native France, and also in some good results in GP2. He's on the front row, I believe, for the first race last year, so he's got the speed as Tristan Gomendy, and he's shown it this afternoon, hasn't he, Oriol Servia?
Yes, I would love a yellow flag right now, Jeremy. That would make the race.
5 laps to go. 5 laps
there's
to
like
go.
5 laps to go, and if it would be a yellow, would put all those 4 guys together again. Tracy would want to go for the win. Tagliani's been running fast, so it would be really, really cool if we would have a little last yellow here.
Yes, that would be pretty interesting. Inside 5 minutes to go. As you can see at the top of the screen there, we're on lap 65 now, the race leader. You see the time ticking away. 5 minutes and 6 seconds, 5 seconds and counting to go in this first race of the season. There goes Robert Dornbos in 2nd place, the Dutchman. Remarkable effort by him. He's car number 14 there, 25 years of age, from Monte Carlo. And Robert Dornbos is one of the few drivers that did not start his career in the karting ranks. He went straight into the Formula Renault Series and then into Formula 3, but just about, I think everybody else in the field started off in karting. Doornbos did not. He got his first experience of racing when he was taken to the Belgian Grand Prix as a guest of the Williams team back in the late 90s, and he said, hey, this looks like fun, I want to get into it. And now here he is. He's a test driver in Formula 1 and now making his Champ Car debut and running in second place.
Doing an awesome job. I mean, really smooth all weekend. I haven't seen him do one mistake, and he's in a very good team. They always had good cars, and he's taking advantage of it.
He is indeed. And the team, meanwhile, the race leader is still Will Power. The gap back to this man, Robert Doornbos, about a little bit over 15 seconds. And the team is saying on the radio to Will Power, keep it up. Nice and smooth. That is exactly what is required.
Fascinating young man. Obviously, he has a chance of being the top finishing rookie today. But what's really interesting with him is that up until today, he had never had a running start in a race car. In Formula 1, it was always a standing start. And the only other street race he ever competed in was in Formula 1 in Monaco.
4 laps remain, plus 17, 4 laps remain.
Thanks, Phil Stevens, talking there about Robert Doornbos making a quite remarkable Champ Car debut here this weekend, as Oriol Servie was saying, has not put a foot wrong all weekend, and I certainly don't want to jinx him now with just over 3 minutes to go. It's Will Power who leads this race. Robert Doornbos in second place. The fastest man on the track right now is PT, Paul Tracy, this man here, car number 3, the Las Vegas resident, originally, of course, from the Toronto area in Canada, Scarborough. The thrill from West Hill, Paul Tracy. He's been led some of the laps this afternoon, made a great start to the race, had his problems, but now got himself back up into a podium position.
In front of you, I think he's some 15 seconds behind second place at this point. But as you mentioned, Bill, his hometown race, he hasn't won in a year and a half, signed a brand new sponsor this week in Monster Energy Drink. He finished second 3 times last year. He described last year as very frustrating. This may be a frustrating start to 2007, even though he's going to finish well. They know they had a car that could have won this race.
Indeed, so it's been 21 races since last Tracy tasted the victory champagne. That was at Cleveland in 2005. Too long for PT, but I think judging by the performance he's shown this weekend and that entire Forsyth Championship Racing team, I think there's little doubt that we're going to see that car in victory lane before too long.
Oh, there's no doubt it's going to be a contender for the championship. But there's new people up there. I mean, the pace Will Power was able to have all weekend long, not just in qualifying, not just one lap, every lap. It's a message sent to all the teams. I mean, somehow they find a lot of speed out of the panels.
Yes, they have. They've done a great job. And here is PT. He's still about 14 seconds back. He's closing by as much as 2 seconds a lap on Robert Doornbos, but he's certainly going to run out of time. There is our race leader. It's Will Power. He's now, when we get to the... Yeah, probably be... You might get the 1 lap to go signal this time around, but it's certainly been a textbook drive by this young man. He hasn't really made any mistakes all weekend long. He has had a couple of mechanical issues, but now he's just got to be careful. What's going through his mind right now? He's been in the series just over 1 year, not nearly as many races it took you to get your first win, but what's going through your mind right now with 1 lap to go and you're staring at your first win?
Lots of things are going to your mind, and you're just trying to keep one in it, and it's just next corner. All you want to think is about the next corner, making sure you don't make any mistake, making sure you're following all your braking references. You just want to make it 1 more lap. You don't want anything special, just 1 more lap, and that's for sure that's going through his head right now.
Yeah, don't look behind, I think he was told there on the radio. That is Bruno Junqueiro right behind him. In fact, the car number 19 is a lap down. In 7th place is Bruno. He's had his problems this afternoon as well, but he was certainly running fast for a while. But it's Will Power. He's set the fastest lap of the race this afternoon. He's the only man to lap below 1 minute 20 seconds in the race this afternoon. He was the only man in the 17s in qualifying yesterday, the 2nd pole of his career. And now just a few more corners to go. It's been an absolutely superb performance by this very likable young man, and it's just amazing how he's grown in confidence all the way towards the end of last year. He learned so much from working with Alex Tagliani, and here is the Walker Racing pit. I said earlier on, it's been a long time for Derek Walker. It's his 62nd birthday today, 130 races since he last saw the checkered flag, but here now is Will Power for Team Australia, and there are the double checkered flag. by Will Power and the entire Team Australia crew. Oriel, what a great day for
I am very, very happy, obviously, for Power, but for Derek Walker. He always has a very good team. He's one of those owners out there that really gives it everything, you know, everything he can, and he deserved this win very, very, very much.
There goes Robert Dorbosch in second place, just under 17 seconds behind. It's Paul Tracy who will come home in third place, and in fourth place will be Alex Tagliani. Then Tristan Gourmandi, Catherine Legg will come away with a sixth place finish in her debut.
Excitement, as
Karen
you can imagine,
Steele
here in Team Australia's pit. Happy birthday to Mr. Derek Walker, of course. Dave Faustino getting his first pole here as your engineer and his first win, and a nice birthday present for you. It's got to be thrilling.
Well, it's a birthday for the whole team, actually, and my partner, Craig Gorey, couldn't be here today. He's in Australia. I'm sure he's got to be watching, so thanks, Craig. Good job.
I know that you had some frustrations leading into the race. You were working on the fuel filler. You also had some problems with Simone Pagenaud's car. Were you thinking it might be a problem-filled day, or were you hoping it all got behind you?
Well, you just never know. You know, the guys have been working non-stop since we got here. You know, we've done a lot of testing, but still, you're never done till you get it out there and race it. The guys worked hard. Everything worked on the day, so we won the race. It was a good job all round.
There you have from Derek Walker, a little Easter and birthday present together. Let's go down to Bill Stevens.
Down here with Michael Cannon, the crew chief for Robert Donbas. I watched you the last 10 minutes. You were fidgeting, wringing your hands, wiping your brow. Tell me how good it feels right now.
It's lovely. I mean, I thought we were going to do another all-stinger and get the guy first win, first outing, but I mean, Power had a very strong car. They're a good bunch of guys. I'm very happy for Walkers. But there have been a lot of cars having problems, falling by the wayside, so it's a new car to everybody. I mean, we were pretty nervous, but boys did a great job.
And your strategy today seemed to work to perfection.
Actually, we were forced into that strategy a little bit. We didn't get all the fuel in the car on the first stop, but we knew it'd be close. We got him safe fuel, and he did it for us.
I have to ask you, I know you don't wish anybody ill, but to see what happened to the three-time champion today, and to know that there's a long season ahead of us, there may be some parity this year.
Oh, indeed. I mean, we gave Seabass a good run last year, but make no mistake, Sebastian's an excellent competitor. He'll be back just as strong as ever at the next race, I guarantee.
What a debut for Robert Donbas.
That's Michael Cannon there, the race engineer. Last year he alluded to the fact that he was the race engineer at Forsyth Championship Racing for AJ Allmendinger, who won on his debut with that team. And Michael too, he's been around this racing a long, long time. Michael Cannon, the race engineer. His father, John, was a very accomplished racer. He's from Canada originally, and he's done a super job with a variety of teams as a race engineer. But it's all about this man this afternoon, Will Power. And let's take our hats off to him one more time. Oriel Serviu, just a remarkable drive by this young man, and how he's built in confidence over towards the end of last season and carried it forward into this new campaign.
Awesome. I mean, he shocked the paddock yesterday already in qualifying, you know. I mean, 1 second faster than everybody. Just unbelievable. But today he was able to do it anytime he wanted to, anytime he needed to.
And Marty Snyder is down in the pit lane. He will wait for Will Power to get out of that car, and we are going to see a very happy Aussie in just a minute or two. He's worked so hard to get to this place, says Will Power. He's got a lot of friends along the way.
It's been 8 years for this race team, for Walker Racing, since they won. It was Portland back in 1999. They last pulled into victory lane. Today they do it here in Las Vegas, the inaugural Las Vegas Grand Prix. And I asked Will earlier, you know, are you seasoned enough to win a race? He told me off camera, I know we have the pace. I just hope I can do it. Not lacking any confidence, though. He pulled it off today. And his first career win. Will Power, everyone. Feels good, doesn't it? How long have you dreamed about that, Will?
Oh, mate, yeah. I mean, since Surfers Paradise last year when we got taken out when we were in the lead. But, no, it was a good race. We did our strategy. We got Tracy back on a restart. Oh, no, he made a mistake, and then we just cruised along. At the end there, you know, I had no brakes. I just had to sort of coast into the corners. But, yeah, I mean, the team did a great job. And without the support of Aussie Vineyards, we wouldn't be here.
You had to get around Tracy. Were you worried, though, when your teammate fell out?
No, I didn't know he was out. Yeah, I saw him crawling around, but I had no idea. I was just on my program.
All right, a nice birthday present for his car and Derek Walker. Congratulations. Let's go to Cameron Steele.
Thank you, Marty. I'm here with Paul Tracy, and Paul coming home third, but you seem a little bit frustrated with that.
Yeah, I mean, we had a great car today. Obviously, Will was quick, and I was quick. We were pulling away from everybody, but the first pit stop, I had to come in again. and get fuel for 4 laps. So the car didn't take the fuel on the pit stop, which really compromised our race. I think we were one of the quickest cars on the track lap for lap, but hats off to Walker Racing and Will. And we had a good result, and it's good to finish on the podium in our home race.
All right, congratulations to Paul Tracy and all our winners. We'll send it back upstairs.
And again, there's PT, the brand new sponsor on board this weekend, the Monster Energy drink, and that's a great way for that new partnership to start out, certainly. But it's been a tremendous afternoon for PT. Let's look at the unofficial results. So Will Power, his first ever Champ Car victory, and it's well deserved indeed for that young man from Australia. Comes in his 17th Champ Car start, a remarkable debut there for Robert Doornbosch, the Dutchman, in second place. Paul Tracy, Alex Tagliani, he ran well too for the R Sports team. Another rookie, Tristan Gomendy, then Catherine Legg comes away with a great 6th place finish. She was pretty unobtrusive for most of the day, but did an excellent job, kept it off the wall, had some problems towards the end, but brought that car home. There's her teammate Bruno Junqueira, the second of the Dale Coyne Racing cars, in 7th place. Alex Figge, the PCM Pacific Coast Motorsports team, they'll be delighted to bring that car home in the top 10 first time out. Then Mario Dominguez and Neil Jani rounding out the top 10, and the rest of these guys all had some sort of problems. Ryan Diel, Simon Pagenaud, Sebastian Bourdais had a bunch of punctures before he finally put it into the wall. Justin Wilson, Dan Clark, he made a good run in the early stages before making a mistake, but it's certainly been a thrilling afternoon here and a great weekend. There's so much enthusiasm about this event, Oriel, hasn't there been?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great way to start the season, racing Las Vegas, and it was a great show. It was really well put. The racetrack, I must say, it's the best street racetrack I've seen. Elevation changes, was long, fast, definitely challenging. I think it was a great way to start the season.
It certainly was, and there's the point standings after the first round of 16 that will be in the 2007 season. Will Power, Robert Doornbosch, Paul Tracy. Of course, Will Power gets 33 points. He got 1 for getting the pole yesterday, 1 for also fastest lap of the race as well. So it's been a great day for Will Power, and it's been a tremendous afternoon in Las Vegas, and a lot more exciting action to come.
Champ Car drivers need to keep their cool, because in the heat of the race, all hell can break loose. Cars run fast, emotions run high. Racing on the streets of Long Beach, California. Champ Car World Series, Sunday, live on Eurosport 2.